Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to today's edition. My people, yeah, let's share the show. Yeah, let's share the show. Cummings vice presidential mate or running mate, however you want to term it. Y'all come on, let's share the show. Um, Today we have a today was from what I'm hearing was a power pack day. Let's share the show, please. Help us to share the show, please and please. We have a we have a lot to talk about. Let's share the show. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let's share the show. Today, today our conversation will really focus on something very important. We will take you back to 2017. There is something that happened in 2017. That thing is still happening in 2018, 2023. And if we don't put stop to it, it would be a serious problem. Um, and like I've always told you, I like to talk story. I like to tell stories. Um, let's share the show. Listen, you do not want to miss today's show. You don't. Whether you're from the ANC, the CPP, the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the whatever party, even the CDC, you don't want to miss today's show. Share the show, guys. Please, we are begging you, share the show. Reach to people in your reach. Let's make it go viral, make it go wild, make it go crazy. Do whatever you want to do. Share the show. Today we have a couple of video clips that we will play you, or will play for you, um, to take you down memory lane. We want to tell you what is happening behind closed doors. Today, we want to inform you and tell you some of the things we've told you before. It's not going to be our words. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe Sekou. You don't have to believe the guys in Liberia. You can even claim that we are for ANC, for CPP, for Musa Belete, for Cummings, for Youngly, for Tiawan, for Jowia, Charlie Bronskin, however you want to term us, do it. But you must pay attention. Today we will tell a story. We will tell a story that is meaningfully impactful. And if we do not take heed, your children, my children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will pay the price for it. I'm very serious. I'm very serious. I'm fired up. I'm ready. Sekou will be joining us at some point. But we have no option. We have no choice than to talk about this way. And we're not going to shy from the issues. We never shy from the issues. And we must not shy from it. We must commit to it. Because all of us, we are victims. And because we are victims, one group of people cannot use it against us. It's wrong. Let's share the show. Let's share the show, please. Please, I'm begging you, let's share the show. I'm begging you, let's share the show. I'm begging you. Let's share the show. Like I said, we have a couple of videos we'll play for you. But I want to lay the premise first. Today, I might not have time to be honest, I'm very disturbed. I'm very disturbed. I'm very concerned. I'm scared and I'm worried. I don't normally use those words. I don't normally use the word scared. I don't normally use the word worried, especially scared, because I'm not somebody who can be a friend, but I'm scared. I'm scared that if we don't say anything, we don't do anything, we don't speak out, we will be the next victims. We'll be the next group of people impacted and affected. We will. And we cannot afford to allow this to happen at any time in our country. Liberia is for all of us. It's for everybody. We cannot afford to allow that. These guys, let me lay the premise to this conversation. We'll get into the videos. Say what you want to say today. Oh, you're acting too emotional. Oh, you're doing this. Say anything you want to say. Even if you want to, please just don't write insulting words there, because that could lead to you being black. It could lead to you being black. Express yourself any way you want to express yourself. Please, accuse me, accuse Sekou, accuse anybody. Just don't use insulting words, that's all. But, what's up, Chairman? We must get to this. Let me tell you something. I wrote something on my page. We can all joke, but I wrote something on my page. I'm fired up. We will come to the ANC convention maybe tomorrow. We'll talk about it even more so, because we got to lay the contrast, but we got to set the stage for something. I wrote something on my page yesterday. Let me read it to you. And for your information, just so you're aware, we are privileged, and we thank God that we can talk to certain people. We can speak with certain people to corroborate our information, get facts, more than one sources that are trustworthy, that can give us factual information, that every time we talk about it, God first, it can come to pass or it can happen. We're grateful to our sources. We're grateful to our connections, because it's important to have your ears on ground, have your eyes on ground, and also both nationally and internationally. We're grateful to you. Thank you so much. This is a good working relationship, and we appreciate you for the information. I told you one of my favorite news person or presenter is a woman. This woman is Rachel Maddow. She talks story. She doesn't give the news without talking story. Today, I want to start a story that I want to talk about to you. It will make sense to you in videos. You will hear it in videos. You will hear somebody who is dead telling you exactly what is happening and a repeat of what would happen. You will hear it. You will hear the dead speaking out to you and telling you that. I don't care if you decide to support whoever you want to support. It is your right. You are grown. You make your own decisions. But I care about the fact that you cannot ignore reality and think that you are seeking change, or think that you can hurt other people. Is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. God said can bless you in it. I wrote something. Let me read it to you quick. And I had some little boys or girls trying to come in. You think that everything people can write, you can come and comment or you can make noise? Some of you don't even understand. If you understand the gravity of what we're faced with, the challenges of what we're faced with, you would even be sorry for yourselves. You would. You would. But let's get to something. I said in politics, never allow the other side to define you. That's a simple rule in politics. Another thing in politics you must never allow to do is never allow yourself to be on the defensive. You don't want to be on the defensive. But here is something factual on top of what I said. All of the facts that I wrote. Here's the factual and key point I want for you to listen to and I want for you to get. The Unity Party, the UP, plan to define and stigmatize CPP's ticket. The Unity Party, listen, I don't stutter. I don't check. I call names and I go to the point. I don't fool around. I keep it 100%. I don't care if you're my friend. If you're doing something, I will call your name out. I'm not afraid of nobody. I'm not afraid of nothing. I want us to be clear on it. But let's get this clear. And I said, be proactive, not reactive. And I said, who? Let me lay the basis to you so you can understand this before we get to the videos. I just want to lay the teaser to you. The United Party, I was on Yasendi's show on Second Thought Africa, and I told the Liberian people that the CPP, the ANC, must not shy away from going after the Unity Party. I stand by it today. I will stand by it tomorrow. CDC is not your target. Don't get this misconstrued. CDC got their own problems. CDC is not the CPP's enemy. It's not the Liberian people's problem. They're not CPP. They're not CDC, I mean. Nobody should fool you. Nobody should fool you. If anybody tells you CDC is your problem, that person don't understand reality. They are not in touch with reality. Yes, CDC is bad for Liberia. CDC is bad. But CDC is not your problem because CDC is doing everything to get rid of themselves. They are. You don't even need to help them. Your focus is the United Party. These boys are bad. They are evil and they are wicked. And yet, I'm saying it and I'm not shying away from it. And I mean everything I'm saying. You won't say it's personal or your business, I don't care. You won't say I'm emotional or your business, I don't care. That's your interpretation. You won't say I'm mad, that's your business, I don't care. You won't say, oh, you hate this person, that is your business. It's not important to me. What's important is you will sit and listen. And even if you got the facts and you still want to live in delusion and denial, that is your problem. But it will not shy us away from saying the truth because we'll be on record when these things happen. The United Party is a problem. And a serious problem, a serious menace to our democracy and to the forward move of our country, the Unity Party. By extension, Joseph Yuma Boakai. Some of you think this is a joke, but this is serious. Even in the Bible, it has been practically impossible. I want you to listen. If you think I'm lying, seek a section with your pastor and talk to him. Or session with your pastor, talk to your pastor. Beg your pastor, say, I will ask you this question. Say, I want to ask you some of these things. Biblical history tells us, even in the Quran, go ask the Imam. Most of the times, and in all cases, it is people who went to exile, learned, that came back, helped build and benefited their nation. Not necessarily the people that own ground. You think the war in Liberia was a coincidence? You must think about it. I would have never been in America, maybe if there was no war in Liberia. I probably would have never come to America. You probably would have never come to America. So God, in his own senses, allowed the war to happen in America, in Liberia. He knew it. He knew it would happen. God knew it. And God could have prevented it. If God wanted to, he could have prevented it. But he allowed these things to happen for reasons. The day you get to heaven, maybe you should ask him why. Were innocent people killed? Yes. Were people hurt? Yes. Did it help us? Also, yes. Because in every good thing, in every conflict, we must find a way around it to see the benefit or the good in it. We have to pay attention even in conflicts. I didn't get to know someone and the person passed away. Just before I get to that, even Jesus, we the Christian, believe in strongly, and wholeheartedly, some of us. Do you know that Jesus went to exile? And when Jesus went to exile, do you know that when he went to exile, he also learned in exile while he was there? Okay. Back in the day, some of you who don't know, Egypt was the point where people would go. They would learn trades and they would learn everything. Even though they were in Egypt in slavery, they still learned a lot in Egypt while they were there. They learned the mystery, the thing where you see the buildings and all the different things, the crafts, because they used to build. The Egyptians used to tell them what would happen. Some days we'll go into that. That's a side point. I just want you to understand the importance of leaving your country and traveling and so forth. When you leave your country and travel because of a reason that you did not create, it does not mean you're a foreigner from your country or you're a foreigner. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. Everybody couldn't have left Liberia because of the war. Some people had to have stayed in Liberia. But it doesn't mean that they're better than those who had the opportunity to travel too, to come to America, maybe learn or get 1 or 2 connections or whatever it is. That's not what it means. And so even when people come here and they learn, the reason why we take the risk to take our children back home, tell our children about where we come from, even though they were born in America here, take them there, give them African food, we cook it in our home, they eat rice, they swallow GB, they eat fufu, they eat doma, they eat cassava leaf, they eat potato greens. The reason we do that is because we want to make sure that we keep this culture going. You can't take away our Liberianness from us. Because God bless somebody to come to America and learn some book, or because they're light skinned, and you pass around, you say that politics, and you say the other group, they're not Congo group, they are elitists, and you are the countryman and you are there. This is the game CDC is playing, Unity Party is playing. It's very dangerous. On the other hand, the Joseph Yuma Boaka, who claims to be the indigenous man, has done nothing for the indigenous people to show to the indigenous people that he is an indigenous man. I challenge Joseph Yuma Boaka to show what he's done for the people of Lofa. I challenge him for all the times he's been in government. In fact, he has benefited even more on the backs of the indigenous people. We need to get serious in our country. Because when our children decide someday, somehow, to go back home, even though their ma and their pa are from Liberia, they will be confronted with the same foolishness. I saw it in Charles Bronskin. I'm seeing it in his daughter. They are bringing it to his daughter. This is ridiculous. This is not politics. Let me lay the premise and I'll play the video so you can listen. You will listen for yourselves and you will tell me where I'm saying is that lie. Let's come to reality. In the 2017 elections, Joseph Yuma Boaka and the Unity Party saw fit not to present the case, but to go after Charles Walker Bronskin. Peace be to his ashes. That's what they did. Some of you don't recall because some of us had short attention span. Some of you don't recall. It's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Sometimes we just got to repeat history and the facts so that it can reawaken some things. Charles Walker Bronskin knew Joseph Yuma Boaka from school. They went to school together. They hung out together. I believe when Joseph Yuma Boaka needed help when Charles Walker Bronskin went back, he went to Charles Walker Bronskin. He was his friend. There's a pattern here. But Joseph Yuma Boaka in the Unity Party 2017 sat down and presented Charles Walker Bronskin and his running mate as elite and as Congo people. Listen, yo, because history repeats itself in your faces here. Joseph Yuma Boaka went to school with Alexander Cummings. He knows Alexander Cummings. Joseph Yuma Boaka was in Atlanta, Georgia. Came to seek aid from the same called so-called indigenous people to help the people in Liberia. Alexander Cummings helped Joseph Human Boakai. To the point that there is a video where he admitted, oh, is that Alex? When the CPP took Alex Cummings to court, Joseph Human Boakai sat down there and said he doesn't know Alex Cummings. That is not politics. No, that's not politics. That's not politics. Let me tell you something. Even in doing politics, if you have no morals and no decency and values, even when you win, winning is never important. Relationships are important. Joseph Juma Boakai sat down there and said he doesn't know Alex Cummings. But they went to school together back then, though. All of them were in Liberia. Oh, so Alex Cummings became, all of a sudden now, he's an indigenous man. When you see people passing around putting the gay picture and all the things, is from the Unity Party. When you hear them talking about elite ticket, even though they haven't even announced who will be the vice president yet, they started attacking Charlene Bronskin. They did the same thing to her pa. You say Allah? You think Allah? Let's roll the tip. And I want you to listen to Charles Walker Bronskin. We'll bring the facts to you. Give me a second, guys. Please give me a second. Just give me a second. I will roll the tape here. And we'll get these facts rolling. We get these facts rolling. Give me 1 second. Just 1 second. We have them here. So this will be considered our break or musical break. Please invite people. Please invite people. Let us listen.
The young men and women started FOB in this country. None of them saw themselves as Congo people or country people. It was never about dividing our country or tearing it apart. It was about changing a system of government that was not good for our people. These young men and women of the 90s heard about what the men and women of the 70s did. The Gabriel Barker Matthews, the Amos Sawyer, the Drew Mason, the Tukbanan Tipotet. Theirs too was not because they were Congo, or because they were country, or because they belonged to any particular tribe, but because they wanted to change a system of government. And that is what we aspire to do today. What troubles me is to hear a sitting vice president, Joseph Boakai, and his men trying to tear our country apart. We are a post-conflict nation. Our peace is fragile. What we need to do is to reconcile and bring our people together. Not to separate us, not to divide us, not to destroy this country anymore. Joe used to be my friend. He too might have been a friend of Bromsky when I came home. Since he decided to run for the presidency, I don't think Joe and I have agreed on much. But there's one thing I agree with him about. No Congo man should be president of Liberia again. But there's another side of that story, Joe. No countryman should be president of Liberia either. What Liberia needs today is a true Liberian who is most qualified to lead our country. It doesn't matter whether you are Kru or Gribble, whether you're Madingo or Kran, whether you're Bassa or Pele or Gio or Mano. If you are Liberian and you are qualified to lead the country, it is time that you step forward and lead. I don't understand why Joe will run away from his record. He's been vice president for 12 years, Joe. I want to take tonight to challenge you. Come out. You and those fellas you got supporting you. Let's put our record forward. Let's put our vision forward and stop this bullshit about who Congo and who country. It is time that we put Liberia first. I heard President Sirleaf doing her annual message, the last annual message she's going to give to this nation, saying that she and her vice president have accomplished so much. Two things they've been unable to accomplish or to handle: corruption and reconciliation. Now I can appreciate why Ellen Johnson Sirleaf could not reconcile this country. She has been working for years with a man who's trying to tear our country apart. It's difficult to reconcile when your partner is not with you. I was in Jacob today at a program where Alhaji S. Mohammed Sisse
Okay. Well, sorry. That's the first. That's the first video I want to play you. We might be having one of the Liberty Party chairmen joining us, one of the chairman emeritus who join us, somebody who has served as chairman, who knows exactly what the Liberty Party is all about and so forth, who was, I believe, in the middle of all of this, understands the campaigning and so forth. We might have one of the chairmen join us, but until we get confirmation, in the meantime, we want to play you the continuation of this video. Sorry, guys, I loaded all of these videos up here, and okay, I think this is it. I got it here. Let me put this video while we're waiting to get signals here. Let's play this other video, and we do please listen, please listen to this one here. Let's share this one.
I have known His Excellency, the Vice President, Joseph N. Boakai, for many years. I first met him a long time ago at the University of Liberia. I have known Vice President Boakai longer than any other person in the presidential race and have always considered him a friend. I have had a lot of respect for him, but the lure of power seems to have gotten the better of His Excellency. Today, the supporters of His Excellency Joseph Boakai presents him as a poor man from Lofa and assert that he will understand the plight of the poor people. Fellow Liberians, do not be fooled. Vice President Boakai is not poor like you. that even as me, as vice president, his office received more money from the government budget than any other vice president has received in Liberia's history. He has enjoyed some of the best and most lucrative government jobs. Minister of Agriculture, Ambassador, Managing Director of LPMC, at the time when LPMC had money, and several other positions. First President Barker might have been pulled a long time ago, but today he is among the richest. He is among the richest 1% of Liberians who are enjoying the best of this country. For the 2017-2018 fiscal year, the government For the 2017-2018 fiscal year, the government has proposed to give the office of the vice president about $2.4 million United States dollars. For the current fiscal year, 2016-2017, the government will give the office of the vice president about $2.2 million United States dollars. For 2015-2016 fiscal year, the government gave the office of the vice president about $2.3 million United States dollars. For 2014-2015 fiscal year, while Ebola was raging and killing people in Lofa, the office of the vice president received about $1.8 million United States dollars. In total, since the 2014 budget year and over the last 3 years, the vice president office has received about $8.7 million United States dollars. Our vice president's salary and benefits have not been reduced by 1 cent because of Ebola or because of a failing economy. And Mr. Vice President, I say to you, this is not talk of the people on the street. What I speak of is variable. These are variable facts in the government budget. While the office of the Vice President has received nearly $9 million United States dollars from 2014 fiscal year to now, the total spending on health institutions in Lofa is uncounted for the same 3-year period was only $3.4 million. One man got about $9 million US dollars for his office. He helped for all the people in Lofa healthcare, got about $3.4 million. Only $1.3 million US dollars is proposed for Lofa Health Institution for the fiscal year 2017-2018. The Lofa Community College, where the children go to school, who cannot come to Monrovia, get only $3.4 million United States dollars for operations and construction. This is unfair. The poor.
Oh my goodness.
So we have one more last video to play, and that video is Charlene Bruskin spoke today. And then we'll be bringing Sekou in. Charlene Bruskin spoke today. I want you to listen. I want you to listen. Even though it's been speculated on social media that she's been tipped as the vice running mate for Mr. Alexander B. Cummings from the CPP. Nothing has been official. Nothing has been said officially. They are all speculations. As for now, as far as we're concerned, we cannot confirm or deny whether she is the running mate or not. However, we heard from the CPP today that they have 14 days to go to the county of the nominee. The last we checked and we heard, Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence was still in the conversation, and other people were still in the conversation. But let's hear what Charlene Bronskin said today. You just heard her father. Let's hear what she says. Listen to her.
I will ask that you allow me to stand on existing protocols, and I promise you I will try to be brief. When the chairman introduced me, he introduced me two capacities. One as an eminent partisan of the Liberty Party, and one as an aspirant. But I want to speak to you briefly in a third capacity, one that I hold more dear than any other title. The daughter of the founding father of the Liberty Party. And the hero of Grand Pastor County. Mr. Senator, I speak in a spiritual capacity on behalf of the late Councillor Charles Walker Bronskin. And I have come to tell you that if my father were here, he would be proud. He would be proud. And the reason he would be proud is because CPP stood together. Councillor Bronskin is valued with those of us who are members of the Liberty Party. And it was, let your word be your word. He was a legal luminary who understood the importance of contractual agreements. He was a Christian who understood that his word is his bond. He was a Liberian who understood that when you speak, your father was listening. And when you act, they see your conduct. He would never have been happy with any termination, premature termination of a contract or agreement. He would have said, we gave our word to the Liberian people and we must stand by our word. So, Senator Cooper, those of us who remain, those of us who are here today, you have told the Liberian people that you are people of your word. And you have shown them that your yes is your yes, and your no is your no. We have displayed integrity, a value that we have lost in this country. Mr. Standard Bearer, they call you, or we call you, the fixer. But you are more than just a fixer. Because a fixer must be a fighter. And you have fought. You have been tested. You have been tried. And you have stood. No other. I want to speak to you, the partisans of CPP. I dare you. I challenge you to be one political institution that has gone through what CPP has gone through the past 2 years. No other political party has been tested and denied all, and accused wrongly and falsely. unsolicited opinions. So, Mr. Peter, I will conclude by saying that as you begin to fix and as you continue to fight, your formula will be different. Your formula must be different. It is not business as usual. It is not the same old like grandfather said. You getting men and women from the gutter. You will go and nothing of this accounting. You will go from the shore of grandmaster county. You will go to the south. And we will speak to every man, woman, and child. There will be those who will say you cannot do it. There will be those who will criticize everything, including your choices, your selection. We stand with you. We will change Liberia. We will change Liberia. I want you to know that the spirit of our heroes who have passed are standing with us. I want you to know that each of you are being platform guests. I will ask that you allow me to stand on existing protocols, and I promise you I will.
Well, I think, folks, that was it. It was cut short. Sekou will be joining us. We have one or two people that will also be joining us. We've asked you to please share the show, folks. I can tell you, though, I can tell you that it's political time. But I can also tell you that we must not sit on the sideline and allow the Unity Party and Joseph Human Boakai to define Liberians as Congo and country. No, we must not do that. We must not allow a group of Liberians to be marginalized. We must not do that. We must not do that. We cannot do that. We cannot afford to do that. We cannot afford the ethnic division, the tribalistic comments, and other comments that are coming up from the Unity Party and Joseph Human Boakai's camp. They are amplifying this nonsense. They are. They are. And we must put stop to it now. If they want to speak on the merit of the issue, that's a different thing. Then you can speak on the merit of the issue. It's okay that campaign time. Let everybody go campaign. Let everybody go make their case. Nothing wrong with that. But for one group of people to be stigmatized and called indigenous and called Congo and called elite and called this and called that, no, we must not do that. We must not do that. Because as you guys heard, and for many Liberians, and again, we can challenge Joseph Human Boakai to put it up. What did he do for the indigenous people that he so claimed to be indigenous? What? What has he done? What? You're showing a record. Please help us. Help us to understand that this man is so in love with the indigenous people that claim to be the indigenous man on the face of the indigenous people. What has he done for the indigenous people? What? What? I will wait. It's not personal. Nothing against anybody. Nobody's making case for nobody. But we must sit down and say the truth. Because today or tomorrow, if you allow this nonsense to slide, when your children, because we don't know the decisions our children will make, some of them might gravitate towards going back to Liberia. Some of them might want to serve in government. Some of them might want to do other things in Liberia. And they will be ostracized, kicked out, put to the side, only because a group of few handful of crooks decided that they would come and put some kind of stigma on people, that they're indigenous, they're that. Are you serious? Are you really, really serious? So we cannot allow this. And this is troubling. This has troubled me all morning when I saw someone, Joseph Human Boyka, that the scene where they started with Charles Bronson. All the men are Congo men, all that Congo ticket, all that this, all that. They were the indigenous, so-called indigenous people, they are very corrupt. They are a bunch of criminals, including the Joseph Human Boyka. He's a corrupt old man who is a trickster. He is not a serious old man. So for him to put label on anybody, they let him show me what he's done in Lofa. He's from Lofa too. What has he done in Lofa to benefit our people? Let him show it. Maybe when he shows it, that will convince me. Let him show it. The same way they use George Weah to come to power. And the same way, the same people have paralleled themselves again. If you notice them, there is a clique. The same group of people paralleling themselves ought to go behind Joseph Human Boyka. Talking about indigenous my fault. What have they done for us? The indigenous people. The Cummings, the Charlene Bronski, all of them, they are indigenous people as Joseph Human Boyka. Everybody has equal right to the country. Not one set of people. Joseph Boyka not better than nobody. Joseph, other people in the West are not buried somewhere. The men who born as indigenous people. Go check the record. Their girlfriend they come here to give birth. Their children they go to school here. Go check the record. So when they got properties in this country and in other parts of the Western world, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? So, I mean, we got to get up to this as Liberians. Let's clear this other notion and clear the air first. Because today, the next person could be Clarence Moluba. Maybe Tiawan Gonglo. They'll start gravitating towards him. Or other people. We must clear this tribal noise and let's have a playing field and let everybody make their case to the Liberian people and stop this indigenous nonsense. Stop it. Y'all stop it. Let's get serious for once. Let's debate on the merit of the issues. Bring your platform. Convince the Liberian people what you can do for them. Convince them. If your argument holds water, it's good. But for you to start labeling people and start putting stigma on people, that they wanted that elitists, they wanted that indigenous people, they wanted that the other person, they wanted that the other person, it is wrong. It is wrong. And the United Party needs to put stop to that. Well, we'll bring in Lofa, who just joined us. Sekou will be joining us as well. Sekou will be joining us. Sekou, Lofa, what's up, my man? What's going on, my man? They say we're hearing that you indigenous man too, even though you got Lofa Julius, but you're indigenous man because they say you speak too much series. What's happening?
Indigenous, or I'm supposed to be an elite?
You're elite. I mean, let me say indigenous. You're an elite. They say you speak series. You don't speak Liberian English. You been on this side.
That's good. That's good. We heard that. We heard that before. We heard that when we first came to be a part of the conversation. We know what they did to set that stumbling block. But again, because of the opportunity to have laid part of our lives in the Western world where we are exposed to these things, it don't bother us. It appears that we are thicker than the normal elephant. Let's say that. But let me start off first of all, Moses, before jumping into the conversation, acknowledging your audience and your very self on here. It is a great day to be alive and part of Liberia politics. Liberia is gradually transforming in a way that not too many people will even notice, but eventually we will mark today's date and we will go back and make the needed comparison and we will say to ourselves, wow, there was a guy who was seen as an outsider who eventually transformed the dynamics of Liberia politics. And not only did he do that, but he left behind some precedents that a lot of young people should adhere to and should live by going forward. What am I driving at? We sit and make comparison. Before I said to someone yesterday, I addressed the issue of this Congo versus native nonsense. Let me say this to you. If we pretend as though that was not influential in the previous elections, we will again fall prey to what is happening now. They are testing the water. Remember, about a month ago, a month or two ago, they tested the water with this opposition unity because they're lazy. They're lazy. They don't want to make the argument. They don't want to sell themselves to the public because they have no agenda. So they thought that they could hide behind another person who has successfully made it. They could hide behind another person who integrity, okay? Their ethic and moral values have literally gotten to the attention of the people. We can hide behind that because we have worked in previous governments that are corrupt, and the people are aware of these things. So the only thing we can sell ourselves with is sympathy. We can utilize the idea of sympathy. Hey, sympathize with me. I have served in government for this amount of time. I'm old. Will you consider me as an option? Other than that, they have no agenda that can be presented. We jumped over that. Eventually, after we stepped on that, we literally had it suffocated to the extent where they can't even breathe. We say we had our foot on their neck. They couldn't breathe. Then guess what happened? That may not come across as though very, it may not come right to a lot of people on here. I apologize, but I'm just trying to highlight some of the things. They ran away from this opposition unity thing. Guess what they ran to? They ran to popularity. Again, we made it clear. We erected the needed checkpoints to highlight the fact that not a single political party in Liberia today can claim some level of popularity or having the number. One, because politics is not static. All right, it is dynamic in the fact that it moves back and forth, especially in a society like Liberia. Let me warn you, you don't have the number until we can put into place a mechanism that will actually validate our claim, have it authenticated, and then provide it to the public. We cannot claim it because we have few people calling the radio stations and making these claims that they are in support of specific individuals, and then in the back they're doing other things. Loyalty, okay, it's not what you see in a lot of young people. Now, let me get back to where I started off with the issue of transformation. We were promised, okay, we were promised change, but it was literally glossed over. We sense change today, but change in a much more regressive mode where we are going backward. That is the kind of change that we experience today. Now, here comes an individual who said to you, I want to transform Liberia. I want to bring into play change that every Liberian will experience, that will benefit from. And guess what? The status quo is not favoring that decision. But guess what he's doing? He is literally disregarding all of their claim, all of their belief, all of their positions. And he's saying to them, I will make sure if what we are hearing today, if what we are hearing that Charlene Brumskin, okay, will be considered the vice running mate to Mr. Alexander Cummings, the land have changed drastically, okay, because now we have the face of the generation that's supposed to represent Liberia at the highest level, at the lowest level, and we have professional young people who are willing to work. She represents the young people. Not only is she representing the young people, but those who have been silenced throughout Liberia's politics. Charlene represent our mothers, our sisters who have been kept in the back. If she is considered for that role as the vice running mate, I can tell you today that Mr. Alexander Cummings is looking above and beyond. He is looking from all lenses and saying to himself, if I will and I must change Liberia, it must be done holistically. I cannot do it unilaterally. I must invite everybody. And to be successful at it, the women must be a part of this conversation. They must have their say. The young people must be heard and they must be a part of the conversation. And so he reached out to including the young people, a young professional woman, a woman who have never worked in government before. But guess what? She is acknowledged, she's appreciated, she is well loved in her community and in the country as a whole. What can you say about this woman? I present to you the idea or the challenge of anything. What can you say about Charlene Brumskin on the campaign trail? Oh,
So
she why she's Congo? Really? Is that what
So
you could say? I'll tell you that. Go ahead.
so Lofa, I want us to second welcome to the show.
Thank
We're
you.
just going to get into the conversation about. Let me give you the opportunity to, let our people know what's going on, and we can go from there.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say welcome to Lofa. Julia, even though I met you here, but I want to say welcome because
You welcome me again.
uh,
Okay,
uh,
I'm supposed to be the one welcoming you.
exactly. I'm welcoming you here because you are Australian.
Okay,
but,
I'll take it.
but welcome, my brother. I want to say welcome everybody. Today we also have a surprise guest. Um, because I would call it the euphoria is so high. There's a huge shift of momentum that we said the last time. It continues, and Mr. Ben Sanvi want to come and also chip in. He's an insider. He is the chairman um, of the advisory council of the Liberty Party. So what is unfolding right now in Liberia, especially within the CPB, I think he is one of the people who knows exactly what is going on. But again, he's going to be here. I'm here. Lofa is here. I think the conversation will be great. And I'm happy to be here. We have a lot to discuss. But again, I want to say welcome, everybody. I want to say thank you to those of you who are listening. And the radio people too supposed to be here. Truth FM is supposed to be on right now, but I will go off Steve for just a minute to kind of touch base with them to see what's going on with them.
Yeah. So Lofa,
Mhm.
as we're with Chairman Ben Senvi, the Chairman Emeritus of Liberty Party, um, currently we're told that he's I think, one of the or chief advisor or so forth. But he would definitely clarify his role. But something strange, and I wanted to ask you because we cannot confirm or deny that it's Charlie Bromskin or not. Let me get a take on the strategy behind not naming the running mate today, as opposed to waiting for the 25th, the 27th, however you want to term it. Today is the 13th plus 7, the 27th. So the 27th.
So
What do you think? I don't know if you're an insider of the ANC, CPP, Liberty Party, or whatever it is. I don't know. But briefly, just tell me, what do you think is the strategy behind this?
let me tell you this, Steve. I said this before, and I want to reiterate. Okay, Alexander Cummings is a manager. He's not a politician. This man again has shown his ability to manage the situation. Okay, strategically, if this was actually planned, if this was a plan or an orchestrated decision to say, hey, let's silence the people, it worked well to their advantage. Because why? Here, as we preempt or expect, this is what is going to happen. Yombly announced yesterday that she's going to have her jamboree in Grand Bassa County. All right. Now, had the vice presidential running mate been announced today, what that would have done is, had they put in a lot of work, it would have taken the steam out of the entire momentum that have already been built. If you notice around the social media, even some places in Liberia, when you call the people, matter of fact, let's start with where the incident took place today. All right, the event, excuse me. The event took place in Ganta, Nema County. The people are excited about everything they're hearing. Now, had they announced that, they would have had nothing further to maintain. So they would have had to just jump on the campaign trail and start reaching out there to either defend something. So what they're doing now is strategically, they're saying to themselves, okay, you announced that you're going to host an event, and we don't expect you to be with us. And I'm assuming this, all right? Yombli Kanga may not be with them. So her decision to go to Grand Bassa is to stir up things and literally take the momentum out of anything that have been announced. But guess what? After her Sunday event, which is tomorrow, again, the hasty decision making where they don't properly sit and think things through in order before they implement. Guess what it is? In reaction, they just literally reacted to everything because I'm feeling sentimentally charged. I'm upset, so I have to react, and that's what most of them have been doing. The public pressure lured them into making the decision to say, "Hey, we're going to be in Grand Bassa County." So guess what? Mr. Manager, in his rightful mind, thoughtfulness said, okay, we're going to sit and watch. I'm going to watch all of my employees. I'm going to watch my associates and see who is more productive and see who is lagging to some extent. And that way we can shift the way we are doing things and provide more work support to where it is needed so that the company continues to run, the organization run, and we build training schedule or training activities to get everybody up to pace. So now guess what we're doing? We're gonna wait. You go ahead and do what you're doing, but in the back, we are strategizing the way we can move Liberia forward. The best way to move Liberia forward is not through hasty decision making, it's not overnight decision making, it's not tearing people apart or pulling them down, but it's to strategically think, evaluate the situation, and then act based on your strategic move so that upon implementation, you can get the best solution. The best solution to Liberia's problem is not an overnight decision, rather a thoughtful action. And unfortunately, from what I see on the other side, I may come across a very, biased as they may want to claim that I am, but I'm telling you, Alexander Cummings, I don't know who he may have in his corner, but those who are helping him make this political strategic move, I think if I would say, yeah, today they got themselves to the right spot. They hit a home run,
Let,
or in football we say touchdown.
let me ask you this question because as important as the declaration preferment or whatever of the standard bearer was today, um, I want to switch just a little bit to the Yomdi side of the conversation. I want to switch a little bit to the Yomdi side of the conversation.
Mhm.
Why do you think? Why do you think? And this question goes to you and Sekou. What does Yomdi have to lose in this entire, or maybe again, it's speculated. I don't know. 14 days. I don't know what Yomdi is going to say tomorrow. I have no clue. I've seen some members of the Unity Party, uh, Jose Yuma Bwaga supporters camp, putting out a picture talking about all road leads to they've been giving signals of her announcing to support. But here's my question about Senator Yomdi Kanga Lawrence. Hypothetically, she announces Jose Yuma Bwaga to her or to support him. What does it say about her future in the Liberty Party? And what does it say about her political sojourning going forward? Some people have claimed she has 6 years to be senator. It don't matter. What does it say? Two things. Her Liberty Party future. I heard Charlene speak about the founder also today, and they seem to be on two different paths. What does that say about Senator Yomdi Kanga Lawrence? Just before I come to the Grand Bassa factor, what does that say?
What? Let me start off first of all discussing um her decision tomorrow. What that tells me is the Liberty Party is probably one of the most vibrant political institutions to date in Liberia. If you follow the event today, what does that tell you? These people, the chairman was really openly. They conducted the event on camera where people were able to see the activities, and they're allowing their party members to exercise their constitutional right. They are not trying to strangulate anybody or say you can't do this. Rather, their chairman or however he may want to title himself, is saying to them, look, you want to do this? It is your right, constitutionally, and we will observe democracy. We will give you the right. We are not enemies. Okay, we may have disagreement on issues, or we may have disagreement based on ideas, but we want to remind you that you still have a place back here, and that is your home. Whenever you're ready, come on back home. Now, if she made a conscious decision, where folks, some would say to term it, it would be considered a political suicide. If she were to make that decision to lift the hands of Joseph Boykai, what she have done is she have butt into the ideas of the status quo and the antique political decisions that have literally trampled over progress and success in Liberia. So the next generation of people who are coming, okay, are looking at her decision making and saying to themselves, huh, she did not favor us as a generation. She went against us. When ideas was brought to the table, she turned her back on it because she was all about herself at the time. The decision to have considered her as a vice running mate did not go her way. So guess what? She's now standing against us. She opposing the progress and success of our generation. So when that time comes again, when she reach out to them and say, Liberians, I need you to support me, they'll look at her in the face and say, we no longer dwell on tribal politics. We no longer dwell on past or legacy. We are now looking at your records, your current day-to-day activities. What record can we use to say you stood for us? Unfortunately, if that does not exist, Madam Yombli Kanga should say bye-bye to her political career and just packed up and sit somewhere else. That is just what I think.
Steve, you're muted.
Seku, this computer, I don't know, man. That touch screen thing, I can give you hard time. I used to the old computer than my traditional thing.
So, first of all, let me disagree with the both of you a little bit.
Okay.
Fundamentally, I think we are doing a disservice to the CPP, to Charlene Bronskin, to Musa Belite, to Alexander Cummings, by discussing Nyombli at this point or today. No.
Why?
Let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
You will discuss Nyombli when you listen to Nyombli. As a matter of fact, I think like we are taking away from the people who deserve to be talked about today. You know, we always talk about things when it happen. When Boakai had a nomination announcement, we discussed Boakai the whole day when I had that program. Today, I think those who were not privileged to watch what happened, we should be talking about what happened today and what it means for Liberia. I'm not saying you are wrong, but I just feel like
Okay.
we are running ahead of ourselves a little
Okay.
bit.
Good. I'm glad you made that clarity.
Yeah,
Good.
we are running ahead of ourselves a little bit, and we are trying to preempt or move. Let's listen. Let's wait tomorrow and see what happens. Let me tell you this.
But Sekou, before you land, though, let me just say this. The question was posed to me as to what do I make of it, the
I know.
possibilities.
And
And
I
based on
know.
that, I
I
gave
know.
my view on both
No,
sides of it.
no,
I wasn't saying this is what she's going to do. I'm telling you, if this decision is made, this is what it will be looked at. And if this is done, this is what the people will see it at. And I'm just telling you based on my personal view and my analysis of things.
look at this. Listen,
Uh-huh.
my disagreement with you is not in any way attempting to criticize you guys. I'm just telling you
Oh,
guys.
no, that's okay.
Yeah, we are not. We're supposed to focus on what happened today. What is about to happen? And today should be about the CPP. Tomorrow, a normally go ahead and do whatever she wants to do. If necessary, we'll talk about her. We'll talk about what it means for Liberia and the Liberian people. But let me say this, Steve. What I saw today, is something I look for to touch a little bit. the transparency, the organization, the exercise of democracy or respect for democratic principle that I saw today. I've never seen it in Liberian politics. The voting process, the nomination process, and something also happened today that I took note on, Steve. All along, we have doubt in our mind. In some area, it was being speculated that there is no structure, there's no membership, there's no leadership of the CPP in all of the countries. To my utmost surprise, I saw all the 15 countries of Liberia, they were not only represented but by the ANC, but also by the Liberty Party. So I saw today that people voted to give their support from all the 15 countries of Liberia to say we are saying yes to Alexander Cummings' standard bearership. I think that was remarkable. You know, people overlook certain things. Representation matter. That was a concern. That was a concern of many people. But how they're going to utilize those people is also another thing. It's very, very important. So the transparency aspect for these people to do all their thing on camera, you know very well. Some people had their convention where somebody got killed. We didn't see it because it was not on camera. Just not too long ago, CDC had a convention in the middle of the night. We just heard in the morning what happened. Nobody saw anything. Nobody knew what really happened. We just heard, this person is this person is that. So these are important things that people should pay attention to. They say if the Christmas will be good, you can tell from the Eve. If the people are beginning to be transparent and open to the Liberian people, even their decision to move or to extend the nomination of the VP was not just decided in the back, but somebody dropped a motion, came out with a motion.
Yep.
And that motion was seconded. It was also counter.
It was counter, yeah.
It was counter, and people even took time, make noise among themselves. Those are the tenets of democracy. And besides, after the motion was counter, people even said, no. Eventually, somebody came and said, let's modify the motion. At least we may not agree with what this person proposed or suggested, but let's modify it. From 21 days that was previously said by the other person to what? To 14 days. I think we should say kudos to them. We should say, let me see, Chairman, I think Chairman Ben Savi is here. Chairman Ben Savi, what's going on with your camera, man? Welcome to SKTV, sir.
I don't know. You guys can hear me. I don't know what's going on with my internet.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Maybe my internet from Liberia. Maybe the internet from Liberia follow me here. I'm not sure what's happening.
We can hear you.
It's good to be here. It's good to see you guys.
If you can hear, we can hear you. You're very loud and clear.
Okay, good.
All right.
Yes, I can hear you guys. I can.
Okay. So Lofa and Steve and Ben now. So what happened today? I think those who call themselves CPP, whether you belong to Unity or ANC or the Liberty Party, should be proud of yourself for proving that you understand and you process a true tenets of democracy and transparency. That's something that people have been yearning for. So I think also when I listened to, I did not watch the whole program to the end because we were carrying it at some point and then I left it because I was tired. But right after when I listened to Charlene Bronskin's speech, that was an eye-opening speech. That is a speech that will go down in history, wherein young women can see themselves that they too can be somebody, that they too are recognized, that they too can make a mark when it comes to Liberian polity. That other people who have not served in government, but yet they have done a lot of good things for themselves. This woman is an accomplished woman. Some people may think say she's a girl. No, she's a woman. She's over 40 years. When this guy Macron became president of France, he was what, 27? But this lady, she is not only an accomplished person, she's a seasoned lawyer who is very eloquent, young, and vibrant. I'm not sure whether or not she will be the nominee for VP, but listening to her today and listening to her speaking of her father's legacy, there are a few things she said that I must point to, Steve. She talked about her father being somebody who was a good decision maker, who was also a good Christian, who will not renege on his promises, who will not just go and say things and then go and do something else. She said that today. She spoke of her father being truthful. She spoke of her father. If her father was alive today, the CPP, the way this CPP, there was disintegrated or somehow destroyed from the initial form, would have been different. I mean, this lady, she is a force to reckon with. I can say that for a fact. When we had an interview with this lady here for the first time, when I listened to her, that was my very first time talking to her. A lot of people were impressed. She is charismatic. She's likable. And she knows how to communicate. She's a good communicator. I can tell you. For a fact, she's a lawyer. So those are things that, some of the things that actually that I pay attention to what happened today. And I think Liberian people are paying attention. I can see people getting agitated, people are jittering. People are getting confused as to what and how to counter what they're hearing, if at all it becomes a reality. But I can tell you, I don't want to actually focus on the negative. People who want to do the negative, let it bring the negative first, then we can counter the negative. But speaking of the positive, I think would be the good thing for the country. SMV, Mr. Steve Bully is the one here running the show, but because you came, I'm the one talking. Once again, I want to say welcome. Even though this is not the way I wanted you to come on SKTV, because I wanted to come exclusively. Best Savvy interview or Best Savvy appearance on SKTV, a conversation of Best Savvy on SKTV. However, Madingo people, we have a parable that says, when the snake come and meet you with anything, whether that cold spoon, whether that big stick or whatever the snake come and meet you with, that's the thing you use to beat the snake with. And you came here at the time when we are discussing your party, your institution. Speaking of your party, Liberty Party institution, speaking of TPP, and you are a key player and somebody who is on the advisory uh, council of the CPP and also the chairperson of the council of the advisory council of the Liberty Party. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there's no better time to chip in than now. Steve, I'm going to
Yes,
go back
thank
to
you.
Chairman.
We want to welcome Chairman Ben Senvi to this conversation. And like we said earlier, this is nothing official. Chairman Ben Senvi just popping in to, be part of the conversation for today. And we are grateful to have him. We never arrange anything. This is very impromptu, but we still have it open for him to come in and chip in. Chairman Ben Senvi, how are you? What's going on? And can you please clarify your current position apart from the chairman?
I'm the guy that the Unity Party people love to hate. That's my current position. No, Unity Party people are my people. Don't mind me. I always like to give them a hard time. But it's good to be here. I'm actually the chair of the advisory council of the Liberty Party. In Siku is right. I do sit on the advisory council of the CPP by virtue of me being chair of the advisory council of the Liberty Party. A lot of people tend to be confused sometimes about my movements and what I do and how I position myself, and it's part of the mystique of who I am, and I love it, because at the end of the day, I've always said that I've only had one political party membership card in my entire life, and that's the Liberty Party. Contrary to what people think, I was never a member of the MPP. Never. I was youth advisor to former President Taylor, but I was not a member of the MPP. The only political party that I have joined in my entire life is the Unity Party. It's the Liberty Party. Well, Unity Party before they can kill me today. So Liberty Party for me, and it's personal, because sometimes when I listen and I hear things and I see some of the people who are talking, some of the people who make the comments that they make about my relationship with my party, some of the very people who in 2017, and Steve, let me thank you for your opening piece that you gave on this issue of this divisive, wicked, diabolical plan that we are seeing starting to rear its ugly head again. And I would take it straight to the Unity Party, though, because this is coming from them. They did this thing in 2017. And this is exactly the tactics that they use when they feel they don't have anything to run on. I remember when Bromskin every morning we woke up, people were calling Bromskin Bob Gray and Conga May and this and that and this. Total distraction. So I thank you for your piece, because listen, we are in the process now. My friends and my folks in the CPP, my ANC brothers and sisters, we've had a rough patch over the last couple of months for one simple reason. I told them, I said, when y'all get ready, y'all will let us know. When y'all get ready, y'all will let us know that you guys are ready to have a conversation about change. And what I've seen and what I have begun to see, I've begun to see an insurgent movement that is about to start to be built. And I'm biased. I'll say this for the record. I am biased. What the world witnessed today with Charlene Bromskin is what we always knew. What we saw years ago. And Sekou, I like to tell this story because I know this is just the beginning part of the conversation. I remember when we first met, when Charlene and I, we were talking, and I remember how bad she wanted to get involved in politics. She wanted to go out there to help her father. And the father, the father in Charles Bromskin, in politics, we protect our loved ones, right?
Yeah.
Even in this country, they tell you that when people are talking, that I tell her, I said, good thing my wife not on Facebook, because if she was on Facebook, I think by now she not tell me to leave Liberian politics, right? So she doesn't. So news flash to all of y'all who think you're even affecting me. You're not even affecting me, because none of the people who love me who reads it, right? But I remember Counselor was very, very protective. And he said to me clearly, I'll never forget, there was a day that I took Charlene on a campaign trip to Gardnersville. and I saw how she was interacting with the people, and I saw how she was connecting with the people. And me being the national chair of the party, wanting to win an election, I saw an ace, I saw an asset. And I said, you know what, we got to get Charlene out there more. We went into the office. I went into the office to talk to Councillor Bromsky, and it was an absolute no in the beginning. You're not exposing my daughter. You'll take my daughter out of this thing. She's not going to go out there. And and me and Charlene laugh about this because Charlene was sitting in the office adjacent to her father's office. You know how like you sitting now in the office, you sitting now, you waiting, somebody go relay or complain to your pa, or they're trying to beg for you. And she kept waiting and waiting. And when I came out, she said, what did he say? What did he say? I said, we don't have a yes yet, but I think we are getting there. So what the world saw today is what we always have known. And what we know about Liberty Party is a party of talent, is a party of the future. When I became the youngest national chairman to chair a major political party in Liberia, that was Charles Bromsky's vision. Charles Bromsky's vision was about building a party of the future. And that is the reason why, even with all of the adversities that we've had as an institution, the institution is still alive. The institution is still well and kicking. And today you saw a great testimony of what that man struggled to build. Contrary to what people think, that people wanted to damage it, what we wanted to do and what we have continued to strive to do is not to build an institution around an individual, but to build an institution around an ideology. And I think we've succeeded in doing that.
Chairman, that's a good point you make to build an institution, but many of us, some of us who jokingly, but we say it openly as well, are leaning towards the party, toward Liberty Party. And I want to be on the record for saying it, even though I joke with it, and Sekou sometimes tells me, my man, lead that conversation. I said I'm leaning towards the Liberty Party. I mean it. I'm not joking. And I agree with you that the Liberty Party is the party of talent, but we would be confused and we'll be a little conflicted that the Liberty Party might be heading towards another noise, considering, listen to what Senator Yombikanga writes concerning the event tomorrow. Quote, so many lives depend on what I say and do. All road lead to Basel on Sunday as we make the Liberty Party position clear. At this point, you serving as chairman, Senator Yombikanga Lawrence, and I'm not trying to bring her into this, but I'm trying to clear the air on some things here so that people are not going with this divided mind and confusion. If Senator Yombikanga endorses Joseph Yuma Boaga tomorrow, is the Liberty Party still an institution that is static, going one place? What is happening?
Let me tell you something. There's and this is why I laugh about some of the hypocrisy that I see flying around. I was in Monrovia. Everybody know I was in Monrovia recently, and I just got back. Right? I was so upset. I was talking to Busa a few minutes ago, and I said, I'm so upset I didn't stay for this convention because I thought today was such a powerful day, right? But let me say this to you, Steve, and I'll give you a context, and then I will answer your question. After VP Boakai made a choice of Jeremiah Cone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will ask Musa to send me that invitation. I will send it to him. I will ask him to send it to me. The Unity Party wrote for the first time, for the very first time, since all the Hubal, the Halabalu, and everything started in Liberty Party, the Unity Party wrote the CPP, addressed an invitation to attend the unveiling of their vice standard bearer, right? They wrote two invitations. One to Mr. Alexander Cummings as standard bearer of the collaborating political party, CPP. Mm-hmm. Follow what I'm saying to you?
Right.
Two, Chairman Musa Hassan Belete, chairman of the CPP. Do you know why they wrote that letter? They recognized, because at that point now, in their mind, Yombli had left. Because you remember, she issued a statement saying that she was going to make a determination on where she was going to go direct from a direction standpoint. So Unity Party, and again, like I said, I will beat on them a lot because they won't take power again, right? And this is the hypocrisy that I always talk about. They wrote the CPP inviting Cummings to go to attend the program as standard bearer of the CPP. First of all, there's only one party can make a collaboration. That's the first thing.
Sure.
So which other party were they recognizing the CPP as? So what you see happening today is a bunch of machinations. What happened earlier was that they ran scared. And that's why I thought the move today by the CPP was brilliant. Because I never believed that the CPP should be at the whims and caprices of the Unity Party determining when to announce a running mate or when not to announce a running mate. Vice President Joseph Boyka kept us hostage for, I mean, say 2 months. Nobody, we were all talking. Heck, Mr. Cummings should even wait till July if he wants to wait. That is his prerogative, right? My point to you is, Senator Lawrence is the former political leader of the Liberty Party. It is set. Everybody knows that. She knows that.
Former?
This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not a lie. The Liberty Party constitution is very clear. Before you become leader, right? You have to be stand-up-bearer before you can be political leader. Senator Lawrence was completing the tenure of Councillor Charles Walker Bromskin. Councillor Charles Walker Bromskin tenure ended in October of 2022. According to the Constitution of Liberty Party, yes. According to the Constitution of Liberty Party, or many constitutions of political parties, you have a national convention 1 year before the elections to elect a standard bearer. Liberty Party made a determination that they were not fielding a presidential candidate this year, so we're not electing a standard bearer. There is nothing called a perpetual political leadership. There's nothing called, we're not running a kingdom or a queendom or a monarchy. We're running a democratic party. And that party is where it is. So listen, every Liberian has a right to associate and to disassociate. We don't take that away from Senator Lawrence, from Senator Dillon, from those. And by the way, they are still members of our party. We consider them partisans. Senator Lawrence is an eminent partisan. She's former political leader. By virtue of the fact she's a senator, Senator Dillon, they're all eminent partisans of the Liberty Party. But this thing has to stop where people feel that political parties now moving forward has to be centered around a big woman or a big man. And what we have said and consistently said, in fact, let me say this. One of the sticky issues in this conversation about whether Senator Lawrence should have been the vice standard bearer to Mr. Cummings was whether she should be reinstated as political leader. So if Senator Lawrence if they consider her as the political leader, why were we having conversations about reinstating her as political leader? You can't have your cake and eat it. So what is happening in Basel tomorrow? And the only thing that breaks my heart, and let me tell you what breaks my heart. Because again, I've seen the trickery of the Unity Party here at play. That's all it is. And I have said consistently that this is what the Unity Party will do, and they do very good. They will play around, they will do the different things they have to do, and then in the end, you never know where things will end. But I wish them well tomorrow with their program. I wish the program well. We're in the political process. Senator Lawrence will go tomorrow. I think I see Vice President Joseph Boyka. And that's what's even funny, because the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, have rendered an opinion on this issue. And for Vice President Joseph Boyka, who was a constitutionally elected vice president, who took a constitutional oath to protect and defend the laws of our country, for Vice President Joseph Boyka to even still be in contrary to what the Supreme Court said, is troubling. I continue to say this, but you know what? It is the political season, like I always say. It is the silly season. A lot of silly things will happen. And that's why I said today, I'm hoping and praying that this election comes to an end so that we can all go back to our regular programming and we can come back to where we all intend to be.
So Ben, and just before we pivot to Lofa and Sekuya to also pick the brain in this conversation, considering this is maybe your first, I stand to be corrected, appearance on SKTV from an impromptu standpoint to just keep the conversation going, and based on your knowledge and so forth. You serving as advisor in your role, if Senator John Lee Lawrence and other members who are eminent partisans of this party are still using the name, label, and symbol of the Liberty Party to do business, as you've said, with Unity Party, who should know better and shouldn't even be doing that. Any course of action from the Liberty Party that is constitutionally constituted with the authority to run the day-to-day affairs of the Unity Party? Of the Liberty Party, I mean?
Well, the Liberty Party, I believe there's some discussions that are being held in the back on what needs to happen, especially taking into consideration the Supreme Court's opinion, because the Supreme Court opinion was very clear.
Right.
You can disagree with the Supreme Court opinion, but you don't have a right to disrespect it. Al Gore did not like when the Supreme Court said that George Bush was the president-elect. He came out, he said, I disagree with it, but I respect it. And I think that's what any responsible citizen should do. So we are considering our options. I can tell you that this is not going to continue. And I know it's not going to continue because this is another moment in the sun for the Unity Party. That's all. It's all about trying to accomplish something at this stage. You know, there was rumors going around that today, possibly today, Cummings may have named Charlene Bromskin. It's out there. There was rumor all over the place. We don't know who Mr. Cummings is going to name as his running mate. Like I always tell people don't campaign to be vice president. I'm not going to be campaigning for Charlene to be vice president. Would I want to see her as vice president of Mr. Cummings? Heck yeah. I think she would make a heck of a candidate. I mean, she will breathe so much energy in that campaign that, you saw it today for yourself, right? But having said that, I think today, what's happening tomorrow is going to be another moment in the sun. We'll see people will go out there, people will pledge their support, they will do the things, they will say the things that they want to say. And in the end, let's watch and see what happens. When you go to the National Elections Commission, when the people are doing the candidates, there's only one, there's not going to be Liberty Party candidates in this election. So right. I don't understand what is this notion about Liberty Party's direction in the 2023 election. Liberty Party is already directed. Liberty Party is in the CPP. So I don't understand. Now, if you are a member of Liberty Party and you don't agree with the decision for Liberty Party to be in the CPP, it is well within your right to exercise that franchise of yours to say, you know what, I want to go ahead and support the Unity Party, or I want to go ahead and support the CDC. That is fine. But for you to take the institution's name, where the Supreme Court has rendered an opinion, we've been on this battle for the last 2 years. It is outrageous, and I think it's simply wrong. But again, like I said, that's what our friends from the Unity Party does, and I'm putting this squarely on them. Because let me tell you something, and let me end on this note. They will come back and they will be making noise about opposition unity. They will come back and be making noise about, we are brothers in the opposition. You're not supposed to be. But when you are deliberately undermining the other institution, then you can't come and say opposition. That's why I like what Chairman Billete said. This notion that, everybody will fall in line because we say we are opposition. The last time I checked, Joseph Boyka was running to be president of Liberia. He wasn't running to be half president of Liberia. Ellis Cummings was running to be president of Liberia. He wasn't running to be half president of Liberia. George Weah is running to retain his seat as president of Liberia. So the three of them are targeting one seat. So this notion that, if we wanted opposition unity, nobody should have left the CPP. If we wanted opposition unity, everybody should have stayed put in the CPP, follow the procedures within the CPP, and you go to the process. We saw opposition unity when Darius Dillon got elected with 200,000 plus votes. You saw opposition unity. At this point in time, we are fighting for a seat. And if you in my way, I'm coming for you.
Okay, if you in my way, I'm coming for you. Those are the words of Chairman Ben Senvi. Let's pivot to Lofa Julius really quick. Lofa, today's event, the fact that the CPP, some would say strategically from a political standpoint, some would say cleverly or smartly or whatever, did not announce the vice running mate, even though, quote unquote, they already had the vice running mate. They were ready to announce it. Should that motion had not been raised, the fact that they already have the vice running mate ready and they did not do it in Nima County, obviously it tells us that the vice running mate is not from Nima County. Then the question becomes, Lofa, how do you get Nima to come around, especially knowing that Nima is a vote-rich county? How do you get Nima to come around? What do you say?
Let me, Steve, let me start off by saying this, right? In as much as I hate to sound redundant on here tonight, I think I made it clear that the strategic move on the part of the CPP to not have announced the running mate to Mr. Cummings speaks volume to what they consider as the democratic playing field for everybody and looking around and beyond and above. They're not simply looking in one direction. This also speaks to the ability of the Unity Party to take into consideration the reaction of the people. Excuse me, not the Unity Party, I meant the CPP. All right? They are looking. Contrary to that, if you look at the Unity Party, they are prone to reaction. They are typically what we would consider reactionaries. The minute they say, hey, they react. They're not looking at the possible solution. My only concern here going forward, and I should have started with this question to Ben. Ben, are you guys at the Liberty Party still accepting application for membership? And if so, where can I obtain my membership to Liberty Party? And what is the process? Let's start with that.
I'm sending it to you right now. I'm sending it to you right now. Right now, no. It's electronic. I'm sending it to you right now. Don't worry.
Okay. Now, and secondly, my question that I want to pose to you, why I really don't want to speak to this, but I would rather get it from you as a person. And again, a stakeholder, permanent member of the Liberty Party. What do you make of Honorable Boykai's decision if he is to show up tomorrow as a constitutionally elected vice president of the republic who is supposed to respect the law? All right, considering the decision rendered by the Supreme Court, if he is to show up tomorrow at that event, knowing that Madam Yombli Kanga does not in any way possess the authority to conduct any activity under the banner of the Liberty Party, what does that speak to his ability to make conscious decision or critical decision, or even his leadership style?
First of all, the VP, I have a great deal of respect for him. But I've always said that I am yet to see Vice President Joe Boakai lead. I'm yet to see it. VP Boakai has always had an excuse whenever he's in a position of leadership. You think about Minister of Agriculture, LPMC. In fact, yesterday I was on Lobo's show and I challenged Lobo. LPMC Managing Director. What the place name? LPRC. So, okay, when you were on the cabinet, he reported to a president. So he served at the pleasure of the president. So there's no way VP Boakai could have said, oh, you know what? Okay, yeah. But then there are times where I saw some flyer today. Say JMB Daily, something they were talking about how when he was managing director of LPMC, I think some positive thing were going on. But then when you bring out the issue of the ineffectiveness and how LPMC did not do what it was supposed to do, then they're like, oh, no. He was just managing director. Vice president, 12 years. President of the Liberian Senate. VP Boakai, I know personally. VP Boakai was in charge of the agriculture sector. I know. The Unity Party people knows that. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a Minister of Agriculture, reported directly to the Vice President because that was a sector the President gave to the Vice President. I know that because we were in Liberia. We all knew.
But for the sake of clarity, and I'm very sorry here, Siku, as a Vice President, all right, he watched over the activities of the agriculture ministry. Is that what you're saying here tonight? Now
But
you're not talking about when he served as an agriculture minister.
Lofa,
Wow.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and it's public record. It's not.
It
I'm not
is.
gossiping here.
I'm just
Ellen
saying it for
Johnson
clarity, for
Sirleaf-
the sake of the audience.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf turned over the agriculture sector to her vice president. Presidents do it. If you go to Sierra Leone, the Economic Reform Commission is headed by the vice president. If you go to Nigeria, the vice president of Nigeria is responsible to manage the Economic Development Council. Presidents delegate responsibilities to their vice presidents. And in this case, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf delegated the agriculture sector to Joe Buckeye. The Minister of Agriculture reported to him. But, my friends in the United Party, they want to claim the Bassa Road. They want to claim the Monrovia to Ganta Highway. But when we ask about certain things, then they get upset. And I know, like I said, I'm their favorite person to hate. I know that. And I appreciate that because Unity Party are my brothers. I love Unity Party. I do. I'd say they have an effective propaganda machinery. I gave them, right? So, like I said, 12 years as vice president, VP Boyka will always say he said he was a pack car. He said he was, but he did in the same vein, he said, I was there for some of these decisions. So, there's a little bit of contradiction. So I gave VP Boyka that pass. Okay, you were vice president. So the buck stopped with the president. When VP Boyka became the standard bearer of the Unity Party, the Unity Party didn't look the same way it was when it was with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crisis erupted within the Unity Party. That was one of the first leadership roles that VP Boyka had. Fast forward, they went to the election, they got defeated, and I said it to Lobo yesterday, they were left in a state of coma after the flogging from the CDC of 14 out of 15 counties. Unity Party were left in a state of coma, and everybody knows that. It took the CPP to give the Unity Party some life support, to breathe some oxygen into their lungs. It took the CPP. It took people like Henry Costa. The very Henry Costa today that they kick him by the wayside. What happened in the CPP? VP Boyka was the chair of the CPP. The CPP broke apart. So I'm yet to see. So that's why when I hear my friends, you guys say they're about to rescue Liberia. Rescue Liberia from who? From who? Liberia don't need rescue. We're not the country is not in no hostage to say, we need rescue. We have a system that is broken, which is true. We have a system that is broken. And unfortunately, the vice president is a part of that system. He's a relic of the past. And that's why I continue to say that if the Unity Party will have any say in this election, because to defeat an incumbent, this is where they tend to say, I have sympathy for the CDC. Because I am adamant that the replacement for George Weah cannot be Joseph Boyka. I'm sorry. I'm just one of those people who don't believe that. If we are going to change the system, let's change the system. You cannot say we're changing the system, then we do it halfway. Right? So I will say this, and I will end on this note. I am yet to see my Uncle Joe lead. I'm yet to see him lead. I have seen him attempt to lead, but when it comes to the leadership, when it comes to the presidency, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf told me something when I went to Monrovia a few days before I saw her a few days before I came. And she said to me, Ben, 99% of the job of the president, said, hey, you want to know about presidency, talk to somebody who's been president, right? The only person who's qualified to be president is somebody who has been president.
Right.
She said to me, 99% of the job of the presidency has to do with decision making. The only decision that comes on the desk of the president is the decision that no other person in the country can make. The other decision then that you can see go to ministers, it means ministers got the power to make those decisions. When it reached to my desk as president, it means nobody else can make that decision. I'm the only person. And this is what we are talking about here. This is not about hating my Uncle Joe. This is about us taking this thing in context and saying, that's why I love what I heard my sister Charlene said today. when she said they call Cummings the fixer, but she also saw a fighter. So all of these things, you put all of these things in context, we look at it, and then we let the Liberian people make their decision. We let the Liberian people make their decision.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Let's pivot to Sekou really quick. Sekou, the conversation is getting interesting, and it's taking another turn because, you know, Chairman Ben seemed to be. We even started a campaign conversation here to start bringing so many facts out because these are some of the things that we are keeping. We're not going to discuss them because these things must come up so that we can hold people accountable. The vice president role, it hasn't even been defined what Vice President Joseph Yoman Boaga did for 12 years, which he has not been held accountable for. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did delegate some things to him.
And Steve, I beg you, 30 seconds.
Please.
I want to lose this thought. Remember in 2016, I have a picture. I will send a picture to Sekou or you. Maybe I can put that picture up. It's a famous picture in the rotunda of the Capitol building. When 19 senators endorsed Vice President Joseph Boakai.
Yeah.
I was in Liberia, I remember very well. They didn't only endorse Joseph Boakai, they raised 19 million Liberian dollars. Each of them gave $1 million Liberian dollars to his campaign. 19 members of the Liberian Senate, which Vice President Joseph Boakai presided over as president of the Senate. Even though he didn't have a voting, right? He could vote if there was a tie. I gave all of that to him. But nobody should make the argument that Joe Boakai was an inconsequential vice president, that he wasn't influential. He was a very influential vice president. VP Boakai was very influential because he was able to get 19 of those senators to rally around him. Guess what? Not just to rally around him, but to rally around him against two of the colleagues, George Weah and Joel Howard Taylor. Two of them were senators.
Right.
They saw the two of them. They told the two of them and said, we don't believe you can be president and vice president. We go into the old man. He been presiding. So I asked my friends from the Unity Party, they said, oh no, it says 66 out of 68 concession agreements. By the way, all of those agreements got VP Boakai's signature on it.
All of them.
To pass, the vice president got to sign it. It has to be law.
No, we get to that problem. So can I, hey, the chairman, why we agree for Chairman Ben to come here today? Because the men
listen, I want to end on this note. I have said, if the vice president could convince 19 of those senators to support him, when have we ever heard Vice President Joe Boakai on the record of all of the things, the opportunities, and all the things that were wrong during those 12 years, that he had the audacity to get up and say opportunities were squandered? Say all you want to say about Joel Taylor. People will say I'm a little biased, but you saw Joel Taylor stood up a couple of times. I mean, she's not standing up right now because she's running with her boss, but you saw her push back certain things. There's no record whatsoever, of the vice president ever pushing back on something. In fact, the vice president was the lead campaigner in the Senate for all of the policies, which, by the way, he should be.
Yes.
But my problem is, don't run away from it when it comes to choke you. Take the good, take the bad, take the ugly, and you own it. And you say, you know what? We were there. We know what happened. We want to do some things to be able to fix it. But this notion that they would nitpick the record, this is where I have my problem.
Okay. Sekou, I was going to bring you in really quick before Chairman Ben came in for 30 seconds.
If you don't bring me there, I'm fine. I'm enjoying it.
And again, you know,
okay. I will talk. When you don't bring me there, I'm enjoying my brother Ben here, so I'm fine. But go ahead.
Some of the things Chairman Ben is talking about, they are just open your eyes. They're public records, to be very honest. So, but we'll get to that and we'll display that here on the show because that's what you do during campaign time, elections or whatever. The facts come out and these things are out. But Mr. Kane, here's my question to you. Amidst what you saw today, We are not hearing critics of the CPP making noise for numbers. We're not. Amidst everything you saw today, the reception, the euphoria, the deliberations, the way in which this, the CPP was organized, and the way in which they conducted their convention today, and so forth. My question to you is, do you think the CPP can build up on this momentum, organization, euphoria, and the Rosen welcoming the God in Nima County? Do you think they can move on from there? And this question goes also to Chairman Ben, to take it to the different counties and to take it to maybe, beef it up for the 27th. Do you think this is possible? Because we've seen the CPP drop the ball. Every time they have momentum, they've not maintained that momentum. What do you think?
That is something that Charlie said today. Maybe if people were paying attention. Exact thing what you just asked. You know me, when I listen to people, I listen to speeches, I like to listen to word for word and what it means. She said, Mr. Cummings is not only official, but he's a fighter. And she said, what the CPP have gone through as an institution, there's no institution have gone through that and still make it. She said, I'm sorry, that the politic of the CPP is then going to be the politic as usual. The usual Liberian politics. He said they will take it from the mountain of Nimba County all the way to Buchanan, to Lofa, to Grand Gide, to every length and breadth of the Liberian nation. So that means whatever you are saying right now, they're already planning to do it. You heard something from Ben when he said, he thought they were not ready yet. But he said, when you're ready, we will see it. But we are saying something. And I think, in my opinion, one of the reasons why some of our good friends from the Unity Party are behaving the way they're behaving, they know exactly where they are. They know exactly where they stand. They know exactly where things are right now. They know momentum when they see it. They know when they drop the ball, they know it. They know how the public, the Liberian people, are rejecting the pick for Joseph Nyimapoakai. Why is it that if they were so happy, if they were so enthusiastic about Poakai's pick for VP, why is it crawling on their belly on a daily basis, going back to people they rejected? Because they felt like they dropped the ball. They felt like there's a water that is spilled in the sand. You know, when you get water, we waste water now, that one you can't get it anymore. But what is going on, Steve? I can see this going beyond Nimba. By the way, Nimba people, I'm very proud of my people. Because where they had the convention today, not too far away from our hometown, from Spain. just a little, not too far away. But trust me, the people came out. And one of the part that I really, really admire when I saw pictures of elders, I'm talking about elders of Nima County, coalescing around Cummings, having conversation, that friendliness that I saw today and yesterday. I think maybe, who knows? I'm told that there are other senators, former senators, and some current senators from different counties that are also part of this movement of the CPP. So when it comes to momentum, I think it's going to be continued. It's going to be continued, and I believe that UP people They know exactly what is coming.
Hmm.
One thing I want to say today, and get me on record on this. Joseph Nima Boakai. Joseph Nima Boakai may not run for president. I said it before, 2 years ago. I said it a year ago. I said it a few months ago. Steve reiterated it many, many times. But to where I sit right now, Joseph Nima Boakai may not run for president. And I can say the run for president going to be around among three people: Cummings, Weah, Jeremiah Kuhn. What we are seeing right now, the fight to bring Nyomli on board and all the direct all the people there is orchestrated by Jeremiah Kuhn. His finance, hear me loud and clear, is financed by Jeremiah Kuhn. Before day before yesterday, we learned that Jeremiah Kuhn had conversation with some people around Nyomli. And we learned that money exchanged hands. That was way before. But then day before yesterday, before the announcement of what's going to happen tomorrow came up, Jeremiah Kuhn made it clear to the Liberian people that he was with Dillon. He went to Dillon's house. That he was there from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then after that, we are hearing a potential big endorsement coming. You know, Stanton Witherspoon, I like him because you know what? If you go steal with Stanton, you will put your ball outside and then they will lock you up. The boy can run him so much, he thinks that he's trying to get some fame, trying to show that the leverage he has, trying to show that he has control. Stanton Witherspoon told us, just stop it. Costa not going nowhere. Yoblin not going nowhere. Dillon Pie, you already part of it. In Stanton Witherspoon word. So whatever is happening now, it is called damage control. The fact that Boakai failed to nominate Nyombi or Costa, the fact that he betrayed his most loyal allies, they are on damage control. But I think it's too late. And I believe the momentum that we are seeing, not only that I believe it will continue, but I think it will be bigger.
Okay.
From my vantage point, from the way I see things.
Okay, from the way you see it. Let me get to Chairman Ben here. But Chairman Ben, let me add something to the same question. Sekou spoke of the Costa, the Ben and Ayure factor, directly or indirectly. You are a member of the COP, and I still stand to be corrected, one of the leaders there as well. As part of this momentum, this euphoria, or whatever you might term it as, CPP building has a, like Cummings would say, Mr. Cummings would say, has a bigger tent or a tent for everyone or whatever not. Any plans in the woodwork to, what is the Costa, Telia Ure? I know you've always called her little sister or Telia, whatever it is. Any plans to bring them on board? Or are they leaning more towards the Jeremiah Kuhn? And what's going on?
Well, I can tell you we're in touch. Ben Ure, I call him Uncle Ben. In fact, I spent a lot of time with him when I was in Monrovia recently on his farm, just talking. And I'm not going to be like some other people to explain, because when you have been in this game as long as we have, you understand that silence sometimes is golden, right? But I can tell you that there's going to be some seismic shifting going on. I can tell you that there are going to be consequences for disloyalty.
Hmm.
And let me say this. If you notice my politics, and this is where, again, many people don't understand me.
I do.
No, Steku, you do. That's why I say many people. You do. You one person. Steve sometimes don't understand me. He can really hard. But Steku, you understand me. But let me say this. If you notice, with all of my politics I've done, I've never really attacked Bernard Ure. Never really gone after him, because we have a long relationship. When I was running for the Senate, Mr. Ure was one of the very few people who stood by me, who supported my campaign, who was there for me. T. Ure, and I know she will kill me for this, but T was very influential in my campaign. In fact, T headed my finance team in my campaign. T sold one of her vehicles to finance my campaign. And let me tell you why I'm saying this publicly. Because people tend to only think about today and what they see today and on the surface. All this, I tell people, I say Liberian politics is a big bowl of gumbo. You not taste the soup gumbo before, right? Ain't no gumbo from Louisiana. It has all kind of things in it: sausage, beef. It's like a whole mixture of a pile of soup, right? But I would say this, Mr. Ure, say what you want to say about Bernard Ure. The most loyal ally that Joseph Boakai could depend on was Bernard Wilfred Ure.
I agree.
To the point that Mr. Ure took Alex Cummings to court. And trust me, when I sat with Mr. Ure on this trip, I got to know the background of some of these things.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And I was shocked.
Man, I just got chilled, in my body.
But I would say this.
Why?
But I would say this. There is a price for disloyalty.
Yep. Absolutely.
Just how there's a price for being loyal. Talia Ure, Bernard Ure, Costa. Some people can say, oh, they're party, they're only family party. But let me tell you something about those people. Many people, even my relationship with Costa, many people don't understand my relationship with Costa. Even some of his own supporters can be beating him up. Oh, Ben, you and Costa, and they call the Ben man, he let you, but they don't understand. You have to, listen, there have to be honor even amongst thieves. There have to be honor. When you give your word should be your word. Many people beat me up. Oh, why you went and support that job we are in 2017? We gave our word in 2017. We signed the Granta Declaration that we were going to make sure that the Unity Party would be denied a third term. There was not a caveat that say, oh, if it's George Weah, then don't support that opposition. No. But again, like I say, part of leadership is making decisions, owning up to your decisions, accepting the responsibilities of your decision, and not becoming a hostage of your past. It's also about forging ahead. When I was in Monrovia, in not this trip, the trip before, I moderated the vice president of Liberia, the vice president of Nigeria, and the first lady of Sierra Leone. During my one-on-one conversation with the vice president of Nigeria, he said something to me, and I'd like to share that. And this is in context to what we're talking about here. Sekou, we were having a conversation about experience. You know how the thing we say in Liberia, experience is the best teacher?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I said it to the vice president, and then he said, no. He said, Ben, do you know that there is another component, there's another angle to that statement? That only fools believe experience is the best teacher.
Hmm.
And I sat back and I said, what is this man talking about?
Mhm.
This is what I've been taught all my life, that experience is the best teacher. And he's now saying only fools believe experience is the best teacher. He said, history is the best teacher, not experience. Because you Liberians fought a 15, 16-year civil war that ended in 2003. He said a lot of those students out there that we're talking to never experienced war. They were born after the war. So they don't even know what a bullet sounds like. They don't even know what a machine gun sounds like. If you say experience is the best teacher, are you saying that those students have to go through the experience of war to know that war is not good? That's where history comes in. That's where you teach a nation its history, that you don't make the mistakes of the past. And so I say this because we are very short-sighted in our politics. The carnival barkers, as I call them, get excited, and they're the first to insult, not understanding the intricacies of what go on behind the scenes and how our politics shape up. We all saw that Ben and Ayure took Mr. Cummings to court. We all saw Joseph Boyka go to testify in court against Mr. Cummings and say that he did not know Alexander Cummings.
Yep.
We all saw that.
Yeah.
All in the name of politics. And yet and still today, people sit and blame Alex Cummings and say, Alex Cummings should have been vice president of Joseph Boyka. Who runs to be vice president? Many Liberians have a problem. Sekou, they say, Alex say he will never be vice president. He won't be vice president. He won't be president. Duh. Yeah, he wants to be president. But did Mr. Boyka ever pick up the phone to call Mr. Cummings and say, Alex, you're my small brother. Let's do this thing together. I need you to be my vice president? That has never happened. That never happened. So, Sekou, this notion of Costa, Ure, all these people, I will say this. Costa, 60 to 70% of Costa enemies germinated because of his support for Boyka.
For Boyka. Yep, absolutely.
He took personal pride and responsibility in fighting that old man's battle. He broke relationships. He crushed friendships. Sometimes I can ask us, I say, I can wonder how me and you may fuss because you know my position. But I will say this. There is a price for loyalty, and there's also a price for being disloyal. So all the things you see happening right now, watch it as smoke screen.
Yeah.
Those of us who know, and Sekou, you know, we know the smoke screen. When the smoke screen comes down, like I always say, the emperor is naked. But a lot of the people in the emperor's palace is telling him he is clothed. But you put that light on, he will hide his nakedness.
Well, thank you, Chairman Ben. Mr. Kane.
Yeah.
Oops, we've gone through some very serious talking points or conversation here. Chairman Ben seemed to be dropping some serious conversation here that we didn't even anticipate. We thought he was just coming to just say hello.
Yeah. So let me say this. Per popular demand, and Ben being a brother, even though we'll talk behind the scene, but on every weekend we will bring Ben. We'll be bringing Ben and Lofa Julia on weekends because Ben don't do a show
Yeah, no,
on
no,
weekend. So we'll be bringing Ben and Lofa, to shine light on most of these things. It's very important. Our people, SKTV, we have one of the most consistent followers. And I respect them and I love them so much to the extent where no matter what happens, even I don't want to come on, say when they tested me, embarrassing, say, we got to come on, I'll have to come on.
Legit.
And they have been telling me the last time you don't find were here, they say, Seku, let Lofa be part of this show. I said, well, Lofa guy, oh, sure. We can take the mess from time, but we can't keep the mess here. So similarly, Ben, and a lot of people texting me, please be bringing Ben most of the time too, because Ben has knowledge when it comes to Liberian politics.
Ben breaking tables.
Yeah, and one thing that I know, a whole lot is yet to be unveiled.
Oh yes. And Seku,
You know,
even this Liberty Party story. I was me and Charlene we had a moment last night, and it was a moment where we even shared tears on the call. And I said to her, if you notice when I changed my profile picture to her picture, I said this story will be told. There's a lot of hypocrisy. There's a lot of people prostrating and acting like they are custodians of something that that somebody came and attempted to take away. Listen, this story will be told. But with everything settled, there's time.
Yep.
Now I always tell people, I say, in a pregnancy, it don't go in the back, it can come in the front. The woman can say she's not pregnant, but she will have to deliver one day. She will have to deliver one day.
That's
so I agree with you.
Yeah, so thank you so much. We have about 10 minutes to get out of here because we normally do show for 2 hours, but when it's sweet, we'll go to our 30 minutes at least. So today we have about 2 hours and 17 minutes. Maybe we have about roughly 10 minutes or a little over 10 minutes to get out of here. So I want to ask this question to all three of you because I like to ask question. Will you be surprised? Will any of you, will you be surprised to see Elizana Cummings going the top of the three major candidates or possibly winning the election first round? Just give me a short answer. Will you be surprised to see him on the top? Because if you're going to be a second round, somebody had to be on the top, then the second person. So I'm telling you, I want to know, will you be surprised to see Cummings on the top and short of 50 plus 1, or possibly winning the election first round? And just need a short answer from you guys.
I want to jump in on this so fast because it's like a hot cake. I want to have mine really hot so I can get a taste of it. Okay,
right.
After Ben, he literally broke tables. I'm trying to put the pieces together to figure out what he's going to get after here. Just embrace yourself for everything.
Oh, Jack, get ready. I know. Trust me. I know. It's
but
not gonna be
here's my thing, right? If you follow Mr. Cummings, his way of doing things, no one should be surprised. You should not be surprised if he makes it to the top. Follow his live sketch. Just follow him. Did he start from the top and then came down, or he started from the bottom to the top? Look, let me tell you something. One thing that I would like to highlight here tonight is the fact that Mr. Cummings have changed the trajectory of things dramatically, and it will impact a lot of decisions come October 2023. I would not be surprised because consistently the messaging have been consistent. Okay, his action, there have been places where they flop here, they could have taken advantage of it and just kept themselves in the sky, but it did not happen. Of course, we are human. Institutions, of course, they will make mistakes, but to see what he's doing, and of course, those who's supposed to put him to the bottom, they're not doing anything close to what they would do to keep him at the bottom, because the message continued to resonate with the people. Gradually, I said this previously, that look, why people continue to make you feel like, hey, the message is not resonating, people don't know Cummings, because that's propaganda. That's what you're supposed to do. The
Thank you.
more you're consistent with a message, it start to get in the minds of the people, and people start to go with it. Oh, nobody know this person over here. But what the CPP have done today, what they continue to do, I can tell you, I would not be surprised to say after October 10th, Mr. Alexander Cummings could possibly be elected the next president of the Republic of Liberia, especially if the decision we are hearing of today is considered as a permanent one, where Charlene Bumskin, or Charlene, however the name is pronounced, is considered his running mate. Bravo to the young people. And there we go. The change, and the real change, is here. The young people will now see themselves as part of the transformation process. And I would not be surprised that brilliant, eloquent, and of course, I don't know how to describe this young woman, and I don't want to say I would sit here and use all the words, because I'll be flattering her if I would dare to say anything more than that. But she will be the face of our generation, and I can tell you she will represent Liberia more. And for all the young women out there, if you don't see reason to support anything else, support the idea of this young woman being on Mr. Alexander Cummings' ticket, and let this be the beginning of the change that we all so hope for in Liberia. Thank you.
So, Sekou, you know, as a politician, they want you not to answer question yes or no. But let me say this: I'll be as close as yes or no.
That's fine.
Mr. Cummings has been and is the hardest working politician in Liberia. He has been and is. The problem is he has been working hard and not smart. There's a difference between working hard and working smart. And I have started to see him pivot to now working smart. That's what I've started to see. And when you work smart, you do things that are extraordinary. You come from the blind side. People can't even begin to imagine where you will come from. That's what I said. What I have started to see shape up is an insurgent campaign. To defeat an incumbent, you need an insurgency.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody lie to you. There is this belief out there that CDC, the whole country now fall down and Joe, we are there unpopular. Newsflash, it's not true. And let me tell you why I say so. The story of Liberia has been one of suffering. You can't scare Liberians with suffering anymore. You can't tell Liberians, if you don't vote for me, you will suffer. Because they will sit and look at you and be like, duh, but what do you think my life has been? You're the one who just getting to know the suffering. This is what I have been going through. That's why I've said consistently, and I will make a prediction. I know the party that will not win, the Unity Party. That one, I can make that prediction. Unity Party will not win in 2023. That one, I can tell you.
Wow.
Because, and let me tell you why. How does Unity Party make the argument for change? How? I'm trying to, and with the same player, the very same player. If I was a Unity Party, do you know how many sharp, young, you're running against George Weah? You're running against Alex Cummings? Listen, I'm sorry. But to answer your question, I started to see Mr. Cummings work smart. And with smart politics, anything is possible. But I will wait till the 27th before I start giving my prediction. And I will say this though. And I will say this. And there's a message of Mr. Cummings. Because I know who you will pick. That one are your job, are your choice. The Constitution gave you that power, my brother. It's for you. You can wake up tomorrow morning, you say, I want Sekou to be my vice standard bearer. We'll all jump and say, but I want by the campaign say finina.
Can we finish?
Wait. Segu, the fact that Ben just said this, let me just say something real quick. You know,
Okay.
Ben should have been on my campaign team, right? Because he should have been my campaign chairman. And Charlene would have been my
Your running mate.
running mate.
Yeah.
And Ben here left me in limbo, and now
I
I'm
love
hearing him say these things. You know, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
But wait now. Lofa, don't be jealous. The major mention my name. Maybe my name will be called.
Exactly.
No, but he was
Don't
on
be
my
jealous.
campaign team, though.
I mean, you know what the fuck can say? Any fuck can say I can kurakodo. You know what they can say?
Now you go.
And when I name, Ben will be the first to say I endorse it.
But Seku,
100%.
first of all, when the pop call me kurakodo, let me tell you, that Lofa, what that Lofa got for you were dealing with me. I call him. I said, Lofa, let me ask you something. They say, Ben, you let standing or you let hanging a clothes where the sun can shine. When y'all wash your clothes in Liberia, where be y'all can hang it?
The place is sunshine.
When y'all wash your clothes, when y'all go wash, when you eat that your house, you eat in Arizona, you and Steve, all of y'all, you Lofa Julius.
Steve, can you make it sure and say nobody's doing here?
Where now, Lofa Julius, you in North Carolina Raleigh. When you we got in America, we get wash our clothes and hang it outside. But when you wash your clothes in the washer, to dry it, you can put it behind the washer.
No, you put it in the dryer.
Put it in the dryer, right? So I don't understand these people. Oh, Ben, let hang it. You think I enter politics because I won't be losing? Is there a price to be in opposition? You know, during the Salif years, they used to say, Liberty Party, you're the most constructive opposition. I say, I don't want to be the most constructive opposition. I want to be the ruling party. When you enter politics to win. And I understand there have to be values. But like I always remind people, the only point you can hear talking the crazy there, that people who are not on the side. Because I remember before I endorsed CDC, the CDC people used to deal with me. When I endorsed CDC, they say, oh, Ben, you're the smartest man. Yeah. Then, you know, so, but long story short, but so
to answer my question clearly will be after the 27th.
27, on the 27th, let me tell you something. I'm not getting, you know, my ANC people, we have a very, you know, Tiola and I were in Monrovia together. We had lunch like almost 3 or 4 times the week, right? And she's my favorite sister who can hit me hard. So when she saw some of my movement in Monrovia, she keyed on me. She said, nah, understand what you can be doing, the thing you can be doing. But I would say this, though. I am waiting to see this ticket. I'm praying to see this ticket. And let me say this, as an executive of the Liberty Party, if Alexander Cummings makes the decision to pick Charlene Bromskin, Grand Bassa County, if that announcement will be made in Buchanan City, and you know, it would be like nothing Bassa has ever seen. What? I am making that prediction tonight. If that announcement will be made in Buchanan, what you will see in Buchanan, it will be like nothing Grand Bassa has ever seen. And I'm telling you, I've taken part in rallies in Grand Bassa with Charles Bromskin before. I'm talking about Charles Bromskin spirit hanging over his daughter. I mean, it's going, and I'm waiting to see who will go and campaign against Charlene Bromskin. I'm waiting to go see. Where are you going to tell the people? I'm waiting to see. But we'll leave that here with Mr. Cummings. It's his decision to make. We respect that right of his, and we pray that he make the right decision.
So let me chip in on that question, Mr. Cummings.
Now you know, Lieutenant.
Yes.
On the question. So
two major things on that question I just want to throw out to answer it. I've listened to Mr. Cummings for a very long time. I went back and played some of his tips before coming to politics or whatever it is. Mr. Cummings is not a loose talker in public. He doesn't just throw words around to make people feel good. One of the famous words that he said was, there will be consequences. Everybody overlook it, but you know, I understood the message he was sending. He was not talking the regular way. Before the court case of which we spoke about here, with Benina Ure, I remember his first interview, he told the Liberian people that he will win the case. The interesting thing is he didn't tell them how he will win it, but he said he will win the case. He said it flat out. Mr. Cummings has said another thing again, that when all of the halu-palu in the CPP was going on, where we thought the CPP would have split and there would be no CPP, he said the CPP will be on the ballot. He said that. He said the CPP will be on the ballot. But not only that, Mr. Cummings also came on SKTV and he said he will win the election. But so far, everything he said, they have come to pass. The only one I'm watching.
Steve, to add to your point, he said that the CPP were going to win in 2020.
Yes, exactly. In 2020, he predicted that the CPP would win a certain amount of seats. And yes, the CPP won.
It says you're naming everything he said. I add to the fact that he said he would do everything to make sure that the CPP remain constant. They will stay together. Add that part because he made that statement. Yeah, he did.
And so he came here in public again and said the CPP will win the election. When I questioned him on the Peter Obi something, he said something that was interesting to me. He said, he reminded me that Peter Obi campaign did not pick up momentum to within the last 3 months. So as Ben is speaking and saying, you are waiting to see certain things, I'm kind of picturing it now. And we're headed towards the last 3-4 months. So we will see anything. But here is something that is also interesting that make me believe that it is possible, so possible, that Mr. Cummings would end up in the first 2 people or go to the second round. Let me put it that way. Or even win on the first round, which will be unorthodox, right? But here is something that made me think that made me feel that way. Liberians did something that's very interesting that I've never really seen. There are a group of Liberians that I'm starting to pick up on. I'm really doing some serious background research on it. They call them the silent voters. They don't talk, they don't write, they don't say anything, but they show up. We saw many of them around Thomas Falatan. They were the flamboyant voters that were coming around to collect small votes. But they were the silent voter with Senator Darius Dillon. I didn't say much. They did the Jehovah's Witness kind of communication style. I'm hearing from the Cummings people, and maybe Ben can attest to that, I don't know. I'm hearing from the CPP people that they are doing the Jehovah's Witness campaigning style. They are not showing off. And we don't give Mr. Cummings credit for some of the things that he's done. For Mr. Cummings to be Mr. Cummings came 24 months to the last election, less than 24 months, and he got 7%. For Mr. Cummings, after Josh Weir had been in politics for almost 12 to 18 years, Joseph Human Boaka for maybe 25 years and plus. For Mr. Cummings, who has been there under 7 years or 8 years, to be a major contender and me be in the kind of noise there every day, he must be doing something good. I'll be honest. He must be doing something.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, I believe that the CPP will carry on this momentum. And I believe, like Ben said, if Charlene is picked, I'm seeing some people who I didn't see. She could be that factor. We didn't see this coming, but this could be a serious game changer if Charlene is announced as the VP pick. But
Steve, thank you so much. So I think we have said we already passed the time. I said we're going to be leaving. I said 2 hours 30 minutes now with 34 minutes. That's okay. So I just want both Mr. Chairman Sanvi and Mr. Julius here to maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute each to close, and then we call it a day.
Yep.
But we're going to be here tomorrow anyway. We're going to be here tomorrow, and we will dissect and dig deeper on what we will hear from Senator Kanga Lawrence tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, just so you know, because we decided to talk about today because We don't want that to overshadow what happened today, because big thing happened today. So tomorrow we'll be here, and hopefully, if any of you are available, you are welcome to also come and be part of the conversation, both of you. And our other friend, I just communicated with somebody else who would love to be part of the conversation tomorrow. One of the serious-minded people as well. So when it comes to our politics, so folks, 30 seconds or 1 minute each, so we can call it a
Well,
day.
depending on the time, I think we are also planning a special edition tomorrow in the closing argument with Chairman Billete. So
Okay.
depending on the time, I will join you guys, even if it's after or before. We'll see if we can do that. And I like this. I think we should do this more often to continue the energy and the excitement going into the elections. I think because there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of carnival barkers that have attempted to take over the space. And I think those of us who bring some sense of stability and normalcy to the discourse, we need to partner up so that the crazies don't take over. And I mean it when I say the crazies. I truly do mean it, because some of the things that I've been hearing of late, I just want to shake my head. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe that people are saying that. Having said that, I do want to say, though, that I think we're at a very critical moment in this election. One good thing here is that I think the election is shaping up into a 3-horse race. We always knew that that's what it probably was going to end up being, and in that sense, you are going to see a lot of movements. You're going to see a lot of things happening, and like they say, Mr. Cummings, I saw a joke today from Jacob Jala, and he said that UP centered the ball, and Mr. Cummings went on the field and took the ball and left from the field. He said, "You're not starting the game with me," So he said the country was today to center the ball again, but then he told the people today that they game starting January. You're giving 2 more weeks. So having said that, I think, but the 27th is going to come. The 27th is going to come, and we're going to get to know what this ticket is going to look like. I predict that it is going to be a game changer. If you follow Cummings' story, he's very unassuming. I tell people all the time, his success was not magic. If anybody understands what it means to work in this country, contrary to what people believe, some of us do work. We do live. We do have, we do earn our living. We love Liberian politics, but we do work. I think Lofa has been to my home. In fact, I just invited him against Sekou. If you can come, I was sending the invitation. My son is graduating from high school on the on the 27th. That's the day he's graduating. On the 26th and on the 27th, we are going to be having his dinner at my home. So if you guys can make it from all the way Arizona, you guys are invited. But yeah, we're going to be looking forward to having some. So it's going to be a very interesting day. So you can imagine if Cummings pick Charlene on that day, I'm going to have a triple celebration. It's not going to be easy. The only problem I'm going to have, and let me just end with this last joke so my people can laugh more. The only problem I will have in this election is if Cummings go and pick Charlene, I am sitting and I'm thinking about the vice presidential debate. Sekou, you understand where I'm going with this?
I already know where you're going.
Think about how what am I going to do with Joy Taylor?
Your sister.
Think about what I'm going to do on that day with Joy Taylor, Charlene Bromsky, and Jeremiah Kuhn going at each other. But again, that's the beauty of our politics. We're not enemy. We're family. We're one Liberia. We just may have difference of opinions on how we want to see our country go. But I think in the end, we all love our country. But Sekou, this was amazing. I want to thank you.
Something funny thing happening. We said we're leaving. People are leaving. Then people now start calling back to my. They say they don't want to participate.
I open the phone for 5 minutes. Open the phone for 5 minutes.
Okay. So we all agree with that. Ben, Julia, you agree with that?
Yeah, Mr. Kana, if we restrain it to 5 minutes, that would be good. 5 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
let me take the first caller here. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from? Last 4 DJ is 0724.
This is Abraham Corner calling from New Jersey.
Abraham Corner from New Jersey. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen. listen, man. You guys, I know this is all ANC people. Those people you say you are a neutral guy, but I can see how you are salivating over all of the information that President Salvi is giving you today. Together with Julia, I can see the excitement in your faces.
Okay.
But you know, one on a serious note.
That's fine. Go ahead.
one thing. I the last couple of days that I've really been pondering about is the issue about what has Unity Party to sell to the Liberian people. I don't see anything. That's one. Two, the issue about the gender parity in this election. From all I've gathered, is there a situation that Vice President Walker has some kind of sentiment, negative sentiment toward women being elected to vice presidency in Liberia? Because you have taken part in two presidential elections, and you cannot muster the courage to even have a lady shortlisted all your presidential candidates. The 2017 election, I did not hear any major ladies name on Vice President Walker's list. And today, you have a lady that stood with you in the trenches to the point that her party is at a serious crossroad today. And she was literally ditched in the dungeon. And to have the temerity to go in the faces of the ladies, the women in Liberia, people, young people, whatever, and tell them you can't elect me. It is troubling. I don't know why you guys are trying to think about, to ponder about this situation.
We will.
It is a slap in the face of the women of
my brother, thank you so much for your time. We will definitely talk about it when we have known all the vice presidential picks. Then we will talk about all of them.
Right.
But thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So anybody, when you call, when I say thank you, it means that I just want you to conclude. I don't want you to cut you off. I think this is a call from overseas. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from on the WhatsApp line?
Well, bro, Sekou, this is bro AB, as usual, calling from Norway.
AB from Norway. Go ahead quickly. We get 1 minute, please.
All right, I just want to thank you guys so much for the work that you are doing. My heart is very icy today, with respect to all that I'm hearing. But there's one thing that has been said on your show tonight that I'm happy with, and I will be very happy if you people will implement it. That is, the social media has been polluted. And so this sort of collaboration that you guys are talking about, or to do what has happened today, I would really appreciate, because we get a whole lot of crazy people in the system now. I'm sorry to say this on your show, but and then be some senses in their head. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for some reason, even though whatever you say, you're sorry to say, the telephone never allow you to come up. So we didn't even hear it, but it's good. Thank you so much. So yeah, there were other calls coming in, but people have been calling while other people are calling. So I think we'll call it a day. We already get it 5 minutes, and 2 people call under that 5 minutes. We don't want to go over that.
Right.
Yeah. So it was Mr. Lofa Julius Turner to close, and then we will call it a day.
Right. Let me just and again, let me just say thank you to both of you guys, Steve and Sekou, for the opportunity to come on here. Steve and I had a conversation yesterday about this, and I said to Steve, I said, look, I have not had the opportunity to participate in a decision making in Liberia. This is the only opportunity I believe that I have, because I'm not promised tomorrow. So it's not about me as an individual. All right. My individual platform, the popularity or publicity thing here, it's not about me. At this point, what can I do to impact lives in Liberia? If I will have to appear on every social media platform to make the case for the next generation, I will do it. I don't want to have to sit with Mr. Cummings. Neither do I want to have to sit with Tier One or even what's the man name? The other young man, Clarence,
Jeffrey.
Clarence
Clarence,
Moneybach, Clarence Moneybach.
Oh,
No,
okay.
at this point, to be honest with you, I try so hard not to include Honorable Boykai in today's conversation when we are talking because I feel like this in itself is denigrating to the smart, intelligent minds of Liberians who can serve as leaders to transform Liberia in today, 21st century, 2023. We're still talking about an honorable Boykai to serve as a potential president. Let us stop playing with this. Liberia is not a joke. We need to move forward. And in order for us to do that, we must hold ourselves accountable for transformation. And we must start to give out these responsibility to young people so that these people can actually do. And that is why I'm so excited that the news we are hearing about Charlene being a part of this ticket, the CPP ticket. Not only is she a female, she represents our mothers and our sisters, but she also represents our generation. This put us to the war where we are saying to ourselves, you better come and take responsibility and stop waiting to be invited to the table. Until then, I will say to you, we will all be a part of the conversation. People may not like what I say. Of course, you can come up with your own decision. Like people say, you're an ANCer. It's okay. ANC is a political institution. Matter of fact, you can call me a sedition if you want to. But I would say this to you in closing: what I saw today from the CPP, it show a lot of progress in our body politics. Liberia have gradually gotten herself to the point where young people now see reason to be a part of Liberia body politics and not allow the status quo, in quotation, to maintain the narrative and continue to project what they want the people to hear or see or benefit from. Liberia is gradually going to change, but it's not going to happen overnight. It requires your participation, Ben Sandy's participation, Moses, and of course, every one of your audience who is on here. Whether you agree or disagree, be a part of the process because that is how the great United States of America got to where she is. She invited everybody to the table and took advantage of the bright minds and used them to her advantage. And that's the reason why everybody wants to come to the United States to be a part of the boiling pot. So let us utilize that to our advantage and let us transform Liberia. And I believe we can do that once we do it with some level of understanding and not based on sentiment, political alignment, or mere, tribal lines. But thank you for the invitation and opportunity to be here today. It was a great conversation. We will continue to do what we can do in the interest of Mama Liberia.
Thank you so much, Lofa. Steve?
Well, thank you. Thanks to Lofa. Thanks to Ben. Um, Thanks to all of our listeners and our viewers. Thank you so much for agreeing and disagreeing with us. Hey, the politics that started in Liberia, it will get worse than this. Like I can always say, there will be more yo-yo. The yo-yo might start here, so go back. But there will be more yo-yo. And just so you know, though, just so you know, um, we don't intend to sit on the sidelines. We don't. And when we do take a side, we will defend the side. We'll talk for the side. We'll make the case for the side. We will. And we'll tell you why we're taking the side we're taking. Because at the end of the day, you guys are throwing all kind of names around. We don't have a problem with it. But when we make up our mind, like someone who are leaning towards the Liberty Party, when we decide to join Liberty Party, we join Liberty Party. Yes. And when we decide to say we're supposed CPP, we're supposed CPP. The only place me I know I can go, I can support CDC, I can support Unity Party. Anything CDC, Unity Party, I'll run for it. Oh. But at the truth, I've been saying it from day one. I let it be clear, but I got options. I got Harry Moluko. I got Tiawan Bungalow.
Right.
And I also got, the CPP now, it is an Cummings. So guess what? We are having conversations behind closed doors, just so you know. We're not hiding anything. We're having conversations. We're talking to people.
Okay.
The person who will convince us, not with anything, but convince us with a vision, we'll make that call. But I am leaning towards Liberty Party. No joke. Let's leave all the joking aside. I love the Liberty Party. I think there's
Thank you, Steve.
in there.
Thank you.
I think
Now, Steve can be in the same. Me and Tim can be on the same team. So now, Ben, you probably just. No, I'm just kidding. I'm to be honest with you. I literally I admire the Liberty Party. I admire what you guys have done. And to be honest with you, if you just maintain what you have when you started and just go with it, look, it won't be too long till I literally come out. Matter of fact,
Free highlight came my son. Free highlight came my son coming.
he texted me already. He said,
The man say you are on the ANC platform.
He said you are home. ANC platform.
yeah, right.
So the man say you are home now. So
Oh my God.
I am out of fun, man. All they coming in. I am out of fun,
All
man.
the comments.
yeah. So let me say.
I'll let my man Kevin. You can inbox you and text you inbox and next time and go public with it.
Kev used to be one of the most, consistent fan of this platform.
But I'll bring Kev here one day. Don't worry.
Yeah, man, he still is. Let me tell you something. He wouldn't be watching in the back.
He does. He does.
The man will not be here once something he will be testing me. So cool, stop it. So cool. I got a lot of for you. Stop it. So I was not seeing him, but when am I seeing the video from the show from? But now today he decided to write because his man here. He said the man is at home now. ANC platform. That's okay. That's the same way. People will call us different names, but gentlemen, it was great having all of you here. Steve, kudos to Steve. Even if I don't want to go on the show, Steve will come on. I'll on with Steve will come on. I say I sleep with Steve. Say okay, I'll be there. Are you ready? Come. Yeah. So Steve, the one that actually been keeping this platform tight, and it's called consistency. It's called commitment, and it's called having passion. For the direction of our country. So it was a very, very, very interesting and informative conversation. I love it. A lot of people felt the show should not end. So even when I say we're going to take call for 5 minutes, somebody 15 minutes, somebody 20 minutes, because they still wanted to be enjoying the conversation. But yes, thank you so much. We'll be here tomorrow. And we will analyze whatever we're going to hear tomorrow from Senator Yomble Ganga Lawrence. One thing I know, and I will say it before tomorrow, regardless of where Yomble goes, I still like her, I still respect her as a person.
Yeah.
But I also know if Yomble decides to go JMB way, it will not be because of a personal decision. It will be because she's badly influenced.
Yes.
By some people led by Darius Dillon. I'm saying it. I don't miss my word on it. Dillon is allegedly compromised, according to Stanton Witherspoon. And they dare him to do otherwise, they were going to be disgraced. And we know between Yomble and Dillon, they are very close friends. I don't think Yomble would do anything that would disgrace Dillon to a certain extent. And whatever that was said by Stanton Witherspoon was also clarified by Jeremiah Cummings himself. After all the things that happened day before yesterday, Kuhn said, even today, I was with Dillon. I went to Dillon place. I was there from 11 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. And right after that, now we are seeing, what we are saying. So yeah, I still respect Yomble, whatever, it is. But I know Senator Darius Dillon will be a key factor to her decision making. Just, have that in mind. Maybe we'll dig deeper tomorrow and give you some of the information that we have. I will stop there so far.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. We really, really appreciate you guys.
Segu.
Yeah.
So we go into
the stuff.
Yeah, the baby shower, right? The baby naming ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but tomorrow, folks, is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, pre-Mother's Day to all of the mothers, the women. Thank you so much for always supporting us. Today, we forgot to announce to you. I totally slipped my mind because we're in a conversation, but Since tomorrow Mother's Day, we want to announce to you.
And Steve, I forgot to, sorry. Somebody sent $25 to us. I forgot, I didn't say it.
Yes, that's I'm going to push on that announcement because it's very important.
Yeah, I forgot to say what a lot of people were here, but people left already. But I'm sorry.
Yes.
The person will not call their name anyway.
So tomorrow, folks, please come tomorrow to help support an initiative that SKTV wants to take. We want to get the elections about to start, campaigns and other things. So we want to be proactive, we want to be ahead of time. So please, tomorrow, as you can, anything you can contribute, we want to buy these, how you call them, tripods?
Equipment, tripod, phone,
The
jacket.
tripod, the phone, the jacket, all the different things, to send to the guys to Liberia so that, they can help do the covering for us. We do a lot of the heavy lifting in the back, but we want you to be part of it. That's your way of appreciating and showing contribution with SKTV. So please, tomorrow as you come, whatever you have, please contribute. And so at least we can send it to the guy, because we want all the information to be relayed to you without us. We've had that breakdown. We used to do it before, but then when the other guys who were there left, they took all the materials. And you know that Librarian, you can't be giving poor hard and chasing, and they won't bring it or bring it. They won't bring it, guess what? And when you carry your own prisoner to the prison, and the judge not see there, you gotta be feeding them. But anyways, please come tomorrow to show support. We're begging you. Tomorrow we'll be here. We'll analyze what Senator Yomlikan Lawrence will say tomorrow. We already have an insight, but we'll keep it. But one thing we can tell you is we're digging deeper as to what influenced the decisions, who all got the rating. And once the information is fully gathered, you can rest assured that we'll tell you, and we'll challenge any one of them to carry problem and disprove it. I know we can talk. We're not here for all that extra thing. Yeah. So tomorrow, as the Mother Day gift, while you're asking the Adam General to be giving gift, don't listen you. They here, we're not taking it from you. It's not going to happen. When you take the Mother Day gift from Adam General, bring it here. We're not have a problem with it. You see it?
Bring it away.
That's being strategic. Bring it to SKTV. Ain't one of them is gonna. That means you are strategic as a mother.
No.
Yeah.
I don't bring a Mother Day to you.
But the highest will be, you bring a gift here, you carry a receipt, get a exchange, get a cash. You see what I'm saying, Mr. Kane?
That was someone that not like your life. You say you're crazy.
No, but Mr. Kane, you gotta be strategic and proactive. What did
I don't bring a Mother Day talk to you.
But the highest will be.
Okay.
But Mr. Kane, what thing? We the Adam General, we need to, we need to expand our tentacles, because we've been preaching against the Hakimi movement. So what happened? On Mother Day, they can show appreciation. They will die. They will not die. If they show appreciation tomorrow, they will not die.
Okay, another person said $50.
Yeah, but they will not die if they show appreciation tomorrow.
They say they enjoy the show.
No, but they will not die if they show appreciation tomorrow. You will not die. Y'all get woman, they say they come here and announce woman today, you're all bouncing around here. Because they say they will announce woman today, see all of you bouncing. Tomorrow, any attempt, and you can't hear without having Mother Day thing, you'll be doing noise. And you're not something you're here for. What do you have now? If you bring the gift tomorrow, so let's say, for example, your baby boy
So how the Mother Day will come to you now?
But I'm not going to explain, Mr. Cannon. Let's say, for example, tonight, he bring you some kind of perfume. Just make sure you tell him when you bring him, I bring a receipt. You understand? Because the receipt you will carry back tomorrow for the show, Mr. Cannon is here, strategically ask them for the money. Then you get it to SKTV. You see it?
So let me ask you now. So what kind of thing? So let's say somebody get them flower.
But the flower get play the body flower. You carry the flower back. What is that? What is in America? Anything you buy, you can carry back. What thing happen? You can return it and get it back.
The flower back and can't send that money to SKTV.
Exactly so. That's what I'm saying. I need to say it a different way again. That's what I'm saying, my people. You're here. And I'm fire coming from my mouth. What about that say? That two say?
Some people recommend to me to not say Steve when I come on the show tomorrow because
no. Because if you're trying tomorrow, then I mean the Mother Day program that was all have the Mother Day show, you also be in the Mother Day show, and you don't want that. So if the just tell you say what you buy, whatever you buy, they
say one man flower not expensive. Cheap.
Yeah, it's not bad, but they take care back. The only gift we not take from you is when they carry you to a restaurant to eat because I want and you paying. But any physical thing again, you want that perfume, that flour, that whatever. Food. If I want to get any new food, I can't buy. What happen? You will not die if you get the food by pay your money.
Steve, you funny.
No, but
Okay,
also,
you know, I saw something. I am very, very disappointed, but I don't want to dignify certain people, but I'm not going to call name. So the reason why I don't want to make, free advertisement for the person. When you have been at the receiving end of systematic tribalism in Liberia, if you have been at the receiving end of consistent discrimination, for you to be in the vanguard of similar behavior, similar attitude, it speaks volume of your intellect. It speaks volume of who you are. And it means that nobody should take you seriously. The person know themselves. I saw a post, somebody trying to throw in ethnocentric jargon out there. Somebody we have been almost speaking for us for some times, for being subjected to some level of discrimination and tribalism, for that person to be the one trying to champion another form of ethnocentric behavior, it's not only disappointing, but it's not going to go anywhere. I'm sorry, but you disappoint me, my brother. Steve, now I got to say, man.
Yeah, Mr. Cannon, that's why we started the show today by letting you know this is a talking point that's been circulated by the Unity Party.
Anyway, when I say ethnocentric, it means that people who traffic in tribalism about dividing people on we versus them, when they have nothing tangible to present to the people, they truly traffic in lie and deception, and with the feeble argument of we versus them. That those are the people. But it's just serious disappointment. Yeah.
Well, we'll see you all tomorrow, my people. Thank you so much for everything. And we look forward to being here. Mr. Kana, will you with you?
Yeah, that's it, man. We gotta go.
Yes, I put myself together for us to meet the coach.
Yeah, you're gonna go there straight, or you're gonna come here? We'll be there.
I'll probably come to you at 4, right? At 4:30, right?
Now 4:30. Maybe you can come before we go there. We'll have some conversation before going there.
Yeah, I will stop to the house, then we can probably drive together in one car.
Okay.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. And don't forget, send a gift back and bring the cash. We'll take it.
All right.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story. Oh, yeah. You know, on the day, I'll be a loca. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook. But that's so la la. You working better. Bluffing and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you in my way, I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment. That your blessing.